Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website. Is in the U.S. Open Force 1440 and the Oilers Nation YouTube channel. Number one is 2 tonight.
A positive Friday. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. A rare Friday night NFL affair from Brazil, if that piques your interest. Want to know, are we in the over? As the Chiefs and the Ravens were over last night. You know me, I can never go under. Just can't do it. So lowers my chances probably, but I love the over. Love the overs. Quite the Thursday nighter. Season tip-off in the NFL between the Chiefs and the Ravens. And, the Ravens literally couldn't come much closer in that game. Centimeter, inch. How far is his foot out? Whatever your measurement is, it wasn't very much. And unfortunately for the Ravens, they lose and they can't beat the Chiefs. Maybe they'll meet again in the playoffs. We will see. But the Chiefs are good. Man, there was a lot of exciting young players in that game, and people will get excited. I'm sure people are going to overpay in fantasy on the waiver wire in week 1. That's what happens. Fab dollars, you're just going to be throwing it away. All right. Thinking that you're going to be, who was it? Floyd Mayweather used to carry around like the money of phone. And I'm sure some of you might do that, but hey, it might be worth it. We'll see. Also today, congratulations to Canada's Paralympians as they set the record for most medals at 22, and they're not done. The Canadian women's wheelchair basketball ongoing right now, taking on the Netherlands in a very close game in the semifinals. So a chance, you win today, then you're guaranteed that'll be the 23rd. And if you lose, then they still have a chance to go to the bronze. So a very good chance there. There's still some swimming to happen. So who knows? Maybe we'll get up to 25, which would be pretty spectacular for the Paralympians. It's fantastic to push them over the top today. Was another gold medal, which is nice. I guess if you're going to break the record as a country, you might as well do it in style. And Cody Fournier did it again, his second gold medal of the Paralympics. He won the T51 100 meters in a record time of 19.63. So nice. There you go. Actually, no, that was the 23rd. What am I talking about? It was Massaby in the pool who got their 22nd. So they're actually up to 23 now. So killing it. 24, 25, who knows? Coming up on the show today, we'll talk some NFL. Big weekend, a rare Friday nighter to talk about. So if you're just like, it's been a tough week, I got to sit back, I got to relax, I want to watch some sports. Well, you got some NFL tonight. Of course, you got a boatload of games in major leagues of baseball. Also, the Elks tomorrow, 5:00. They will take on the Calgary Stampeders. And the Stampeders, they are 0-5 on the road this year. The Elks are 1-4. They've only won one game. Obviously, they are looking to figure out a way to get a win at home. And Logan Bonner is going to get the start for the Calgary Stampeders. Now, Bonner has attempted 14 passes this season. That's 14 in his career, I should say, because he did dress for a few games and didn't throw any balls last year. So he has thrown the ball 14 times, has completed 8 of those, and has 94 yards passing in his career. Pretty much a raw rookie quarterback after Jake Mayer. They didn't like how he played. What did we throw? 4 picks, and a few of them were ugly picks. So Elks have a chance. Like I've said it, and I'll say it again. Like this is a must-win game for them. And I think it's big for the organization. You're going to have your biggest crowd of the year. It's big in the standings department because if they win, they would move ahead of Calgary into 4th place and potentially, depending on what happens between Saskatchewan and Winnipeg, well, if they win, then they'll be 2 points back of Winnipeg. And if Winnipeg wins, then they'll be 1 point back of Saskatchewan. And they play the Riders one more time. They play the Bombers twice, back to back, in fact. So giddy up. Also, now is Toronto? No, Toronto's in Ottawa. So Hamilton has the bye. And if Toronto loses this week, then the crossover's right there as well. Suddenly the green and gold are legitimately in a playoff race if they can defeat the Calgary Stampeders tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Lorianne Munzer will be by. We'll get to Cam Tate. Matt Verderam will join us from Sports Illustrated, talk all things NFL, a little bit about last night, more about the upcoming weekend and some teams to look at. Is Jamar Chase going to get a contract? Now, when did Joe Burrow sign last year, Connor Halley? Do you remember? I know it was like he signed the record-breaking deal. Was it the day before the game? I can't remember exactly. I don't know if it came down this late as it's Jamar Chase, but you got to think, they're going to get it signed at some point. It's just a matter of what. Like, does he want an extra $100 more than Jefferson? But the truth is, does he really deserve it? I don't think so. Like, if you had to ask people straight up, who would you take as a receiver? I think everybody would say Jefferson, no?
I would agree. Yeah, absolutely. Jamar Chase is in the conversation, but not Jefferson. And he signed that deal September 7th last year, which was the day the season began on the Thursday.
On the Thursday. Yeah. Okay. I didn't think it was the Saturday or the Sunday, but so they're getting closer.
Yeah. He said he's good to go health-wise today after practice. And he said, although they're a little off, he's not ruling it out being done before kickoff. So.
Yeah, he thought that he would be limited, he said, if they played. But if T. Higgins, who tweaked his hamstring, can't go, then I'm guessing Jamar Chase won't be limited. And the Patriots are not very good. The Bengals, that could be a big win. AJ Gass, former member of the Green and Gold. He's the defensive coordinator for the U of A Golden Bears. He will join us for the football program. We got Spec. Low Tide will be by. We'll take your thoughts as always. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey guys, there's no millionaire professionals in Paralympics. I love them from Stu 47. But you know what? I like watching because someone makes money at their sport. I don't really hold it against them. It doesn't. I don't find myself watching. Oh, that guy makes $1 million. Oh, that girl, she makes $1 million. I don't know. For me personally, once the game's on, I don't really focus too much about the salary. I just look to say, what are they doing? How are they playing? Am I entertained? For me personally, I get what you're saying. Obviously it's there's not the same money at stake for Paralympians. No question. I understand that. But just like, what? In all sports, there's different levels depending on what league you're in, depending on which country you play in. It's different, right? Soccer in Europe, a little bit different than in Canada, right? Hockey in Canada, a little bit different than in Europe. So that's how it goes. Hey, guys, regardless of what anyone says, I love the Friday Brass Bonanza from the Liney. Well, Liney, you're like in the 99 percentile, right? You're not going to get 100%, and that's fine. But the vast majority, we get texts all the time. People, their kids are now dancing along in the vehicles. They love the brass. How can you not? It's a catchy tune. It is a catchy tune. Like it a lot. So should be good. Also today, Cons, what was your takeaway last night? Kansas City, when they drafted Worthy, a lot of people were like, oh, geez, they got a speedy weapon. Now, his second touchdown, that was just bad coverage, right? I don't, you play press, And I don't know if you thought you were supposed to get some help over the top. I don't know. But that wasn't like, oh, my goodness, this guy's just so fast. Now, his first touchdown, that's a little bit different. That was electrifying. And this was the thing was the Chiefs only ran like 50 plays. They averaged 65 last year. Like, that's, to me, kind of what's scary about what they did last night was they did that in only 50 snaps.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the Ravens on their first drive marching down the field, and then the Chiefs answered so quickly. That's what they do, though. I mean, that's what we know. When they need to score, they'll find a way to get it done. Xavier Worthy, that first or the second touchdown reception, I think Humphrey thought he had help over the top, played a little bump, and that was it. It was an easy touchdown. But yeah, Xavier Worthy, I don't know how much he'll be targeted throughout the entirety of the season. You got Rashee Rice, who might be the more prototypical guy who can beat the press coverage and make some plays going across the middle. But Worthy, if he's utilized in that fashion, it might be risky for fantasy-wise, but you can't argue with the results. He's going to create a bit of a reputation for himself with the ability to stretch the field. That's going to open up things underneath. It's just a perfect fit for that Kansas City offense. And, hey, he can catch the ball. So that's a big win. Whenever they have a receiver who actually holds on to it, it's going to help Mahomes out quite a bit. But they looked absolutely as efficient as we've ever seen them when it comes to that offense. And like you said, didn't even require that many plays. Like Pacheco only had 15 carries on the ground. Mahomes only 28 attempts, but the offense looked like they were rolling.
Yeah, Isaiah likely. I think it's very likely that people will be sprinting to see if he. I know. I think in a lot of leagues he was taken. Maybe I'm wrong. I didn't look at the percentage, but I know in our league he was taken. So and the guy who took him played him like he was expecting him to do good. So if you watched Baltimore in the preseason, now it's a shock that Andrews did nothing, but it's not a shock that likely was that involved in their offense. 9 catches. 111 yards, 1 TD.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the last couple seasons, he has 8 touchdowns. This is only his 3rd season. He's a guy who can find the back of the end zone, gets open, and the yards after the catch, that's what really impressed me on that play. Broke some tackles, did the old stop on the 2-yard line, let the defender run past you and strut in. He looked like he's going to be really good. The one surprising thing would have been Andrews. We thought he probably would have got a few more looks. Maybe Kansas City's game plan was to take him away. I don't know if we're going to see Isaiah likely do that week in, week out. It'd be very tough to do that. But my warning to the Mark Andrews owners, because we had a few on Fantasy Frenzy saying, do I get rid of him? No, don't do it yet. Yeah. It's far too early to start giving up on guys.
Yeah, you never want to give up on them. Hey, Gregor, what do you make of the fact that there's lots of players that are waiving or taking Edmonton off of their no-trade list? Well, yeah. We could rewind. Hey, I've been wrong on many things. But rewind the tape on what I said about Edmonton. When they win, people will play here. It has like 2% of people might be about geography. The players, you know what? They want to win. And when you're a free agent, you're like, hey, where can I get traded to? Oh, geez. So they got that McDavid kid, that Draisaitl. I think those guys are all right. How many Hart trophies they won? How many scoring titles they won? Oh, quite a bit. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. And I hear, Kevin Shattenkirk. Of course Kevin Shattenkirk wants to be here. Who wouldn't? But why do the Oilers want Kevin Shattenkirk? Like, honestly, what do you think he is going to bring to the Oilers at this point? Anyone? What? Like, I don't see it. He could be okay, but I don't know. He's not a guy that I would be, lining up for if I'm the Oilers. Because all you're doing is, if you sign him, it's just another body who I think when push comes to shove in the playoffs won't be in your lineup. Right? Like you went out and you signed Brown for 3 years. Give him a chance. You signed Stetcher for 2. See what you got. I understand why all of them are saying it, but what's funny to me is the right shot defenseman. Now, I get that there's no lock, but Troy Stetcher's played 500 games. Well, just under, actually. I think it's 496. He can fill the void until you acquire a legit second pair demon at the deadline or leading up to it. But is Kevin Shattenkirk a second pair right defenseman right now? No, he isn't. So I don't see why you would do it unless there's an injury that we will find out about when camp opens up. Then you might be like, okay, hey, That could be the one caveat that would make it a little bit different. So let's see how it goes. 833-401-1440. Guys, a lot of dink and dunk last night all over the field from both QBs. Yeah, sure. If it's working, I don't have an issue with it. They you go over the top when you need be, but you don't want to force it over the top just to say you went over the top. I think that both of those quarterbacks are pretty elite, and they know what they're doing. Hey, Greg, what'd you make of Kelsey last night? Is this going to be more of the norm for him? Well, no, I still think he'll have some games where, he puts up decent numbers. Like, I don't think that, we've seen the last of Travis Kelsey by any stretch of the imagination, right? But what did he have? 3 catches, 34 yards. Would I have taken him early in the fantasy draft, Connor Halley? I would not. Now, our buddy Kevin Carius did, and we'll see if he's bragging about his team.
He got tight end 1. That's what he was telling me.
Yeah. A tad early, I would say, especially when the Chiefs were kind of on record as saying they're going to limit, his snacks. Noah Gray. Now, I didn't see the snaps, but Gray actually had, I think, more yards than Kelsey last night, just by like 2 or 3. Right? They each had 3 catches.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kelsey. There will be games where yes, he's not the main guy like he's been in the past. However, you get late in the season, you get to the playoffs, Cons, I think it might change. There'll be games, of course, where he'll still be a pretty integral part of their offense, but I don't think it's going to be on a week-by-week basis.
No, I mean, they have a lot more weapons now and guys that they can trust a little bit more so than Travis Kelsey, or not trust more than, but don't have to rely quite as heavily on him. And let's go through the games last year. He started off with a 26-yard performance, bounced back with 60, 69, 67, 124, 179. So it's one game. I don't think we need to panic. He also had a game where he had 3 receptions on 4 targets for 14 yards last season. So these games happen as a tight end. It's probably opening up other options. And we all know they don't care about our football or our fantasy football teams, Gregor.
Yeah, no, not at all. 2:17, quick break. What they do care about football is the green and gold tomorrow against a rookie quarterback making his first CFL start. Will the Elks be licking their chops? What should we expect? What are the strengths of Bonner? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
In 100 meters, turn right. Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. There's the sausage, bacon, and egg, a crispy seasoned chicken one. A spicy and egg, worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing, too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax at participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Rule number 116. In Waterton, walk with a lean. The wind will always prop you up. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Teach Calgary their ABCs at the Labor Day rematch. Your Edmonton Elks face the Calgary Stampeders on Saturday, September 7th at 5 p.m. It's Family Day, presented by Save On Foods. Kids get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket, plus an expanded pregame kid zone. Tickets and more at GoElks.com.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
The only thing as hot as the weather this summer is a night out at On the Rocks. Every weekend, enjoy live music and top DJs spinning your favorite tracks. The dance floor is the place to be. Celebrating a birthday or stagette? Let OTR work out of for you. Book your party online at ontherocksedmonton.com. Join OTR every evening from 4 p.m. for a great atmosphere and good company. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Grab your Good Vibe Drive and head to On the Rocks, corner of Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these fine folks from the swift completion of their appointed work, or something like that. They're the fine folks at GS Construction, and they do like to do their job, which could be infrastructure rehabilitation, water and drainage solutions, land development, general contracting, and dedicated maintenance and emergency repairs. Interested in working for such a fine outfit? GS Construction is always on the lookout for great workers. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Every kid deserves a bike. That's why Sports Central aims to collect over 1,000 bikes in their second annual bike drive. If you have an unused or outgrown bike, give it a new purpose. Drop it off on Saturday, September 7th, 14th, 21st, or 28th between 10 and 3 at Bonnie Doon Center, Fountain Tire on 158th Street, 137th Ave, or the Distribution Center in Atchison, Revolution Cycle Downtown, or United Sport and Cycle South. Visit sportscentral.org for details and to donate. Brought to you in part by Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. May the better team win, and may you eat better pizza. Order an extra large New York style one-topping pizza for only $17.99 today at papajohns.ca.
And beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday, continuing on. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And it's Friday, and you know what that means. Could be a real positive Friday for you if you love Lotto Max. $65 million. Could be the Eric Carlson of your Friday. Good luck. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. The Edmonton Elks at home tomorrow night. They will take on the Calgary Stampeders. As we get to our CFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool. It's going to be hot this September. Good time to buy. Get a great deal at legacyheating.ca. And the Elks will be going up against a rookie quarterback. What should they expect? We'll find out. Danny Austin, beat reporter for the Stampeders from the Calgary Sun, joins us. And Danny, what can you tell us about young Bonner? I don't know how much you know. He's only thrown 14 passes so far in his career, completed 8 of them for 94 yards. That's pretty much all you have on him. So what's his strength? What do you expect from him running the offense tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I've been scrambling to figure that out myself for the last couple of days, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think Logan Bonner has got a good arm. If you read, I went back. He was at Utah State. He was the, Mountain West Conference most outstanding player a few years back, and he can definitely play. He can definitely throw the ball, but we have no idea what he is going to look like as a professional. He joined the Stamps last year. They sort of had 2 third stringers who they brought in, and those guys split times but did not see the field at all. And then this year he won that, what we thought was the third string, but the Stamps, their QB situation is really weird because Tommy Stevens doesn't really throw the ball, but maybe he's the backup. And then they'd signed Matt Schultz. Matt Schultz has been injured for most of the year. He's a guy with actual CFL experience. But we weren't really paying attention to Bonner because it looked like there were guys ahead of him in the depth chart. And then just with the way things have gone and Schultz being out gradually, it just sort of became inevitable that he was going to have to play because Jake Mayer has not been good enough. So guy with a big arm, guy with absolutely no experience. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, if I was a hardcore Elks fan, I'd be feeling pretty good about this weekend's game because we just have no idea what Logan Bonner is about.
When you mention, Jake Maier, he's second in the league in passing yards. And I know guys have been injured, so you don't got to take that with a grain of salt. He does have 11 interceptions, but his interception rate is only 3%. Like it's tied with Bo Levi Mitchell. It's lower than Caleros, but a little bit higher than some of the other guys. What is it now? He was bad last week. We saw 4 interceptions, although one of them I don't think was his fault for sure. But what has this been like a downward progression for him the last few weeks? I'm assuming it's not just one bad start.
Yeah, I mean, I find the numbers baffling. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't really understand how he's second in the league. And the last thing I want to do is come on here and just beat up on Jake Maier, because he ultimately was handed that starting job in 2022. Looked really, really good for a little while, and then something happened, and I don't know what it is. And the truth is, like, those numbers tell you one thing, but if you actually watch the Stampeders, that offense is completely anemic for really long stretches. Like, even when they're good, they're boring. Like it looks awful. And they've had a couple games where honestly the fans have booed, and I'm all about it. Boo your team if they're not performing. You spent your money. And I felt like the Stamps and the offense in particular has deserved it. And then out of nowhere in the fourth quarter, they just come alive and they've won a few games. But they haven't had a game where Jake has looked good and comfortable for four full quarters once. That just hasn't happened. So, like, I like Jake. I think he's done a great job taking accountability, but I honestly don't know where those yards are coming from. And it suggests to me that just a lot of guys must have been hurt around the CFL who I've missed or something, because it doesn't really make sense. Like, I'm not kidding, man. There are second and third quarters almost every single week here with the Stampeders. It's not just that it's unwatchable, it's just that you don't get to watch them because they don't stay on the field.
How much of it is a lack of talent, the skill position? Like, I look at the receivers after, and I'm kind of like, do they have much? Like, what do you make of the skill positions?
Reggie Begelton is the real deal.
Yeah.
He on his day, I think he's the best receiver in the league, maybe. I mean, I'm not really having that argument, but he's one of them. Markin Michel is a guy we've seen do it, had a long, after he was with the Stamps until 2018, and then, stuck around the NFL for a while. Like, he's a talented guy. I mean, he is in his 30s, but the thing is, they lost Malik Henry for the second year in a row with his second Achilles tendon injury. And Malik really was supposed to be the superstar in that receiving group. There's talent. It's just they make, other than Reggie, they make mistakes. The running back position has been a total mess. Dedrick Mills took sort of a month and a bit off. He's their starting running back with personal issues that I'm not going to get into, but the running back position there's been no solidity, anything. But I also think the offensive line, they cut Derek Dennis at the end of 2023 training camp, never had a left tackle. Like, every time I listen to people talk about the NFL, and they just talk so much about the offensive line. Well, I don't think that there is a running back in the world who could have found holes against Edmonton for the Stamps team last week. They just weren't that good. So, I honestly, I do. I think that injuries have played a very small part, but there's been a regression in terms of the players that they brought in. They are not good enough. And then, frankly, I think the problem that Jake has had is I don't think he's great under pressure, but he's constantly under pressure. So
it's a bad combination is what you're telling me, Danny. Hey, we have a quarterback who's still pretty young, maybe not great under pressure, and our O-line is giving up pressure all day long. Yeah, that's a recipe for not a lot of success. And you know what? The Elks really for the last 6 weeks have been one of the best teams in the league. You look at their offense, they have been the most prolific offense, with almost 600 yards. What do you make of the Stampeders defense? And if you're on the field too long, eventually it's going to catch up with you. But, they had a little bit of pressure here, but not a lot. And I know Edmonton had that one kind of lucky play where, they fumble the ball and it's picked up, but it's still considered a reception, which I don't understand. I don't have any idea about that, but whatever. They still gave up a lot of big plays in that game. Is that where they're most susceptible? What do you see as the biggest concern defensively for Calgary?
Yeah, I mean, take out the fumble, and McLeod Bethel-Thompson still threw for 400 yards that game. That was, I will argue, their worst performance of the year defensively. But the reality is they're giving up, and I actually haven't checked this week, but going into Monday, they were giving up more rushing yards per game than any team in the CFL. And then you see a quarterback throw nearly 500 yards for them in the biggest game of the year when you're coming off a bye week. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And there is talent. I mean, Mike Rose has been one of the elite defensive tackles in the CFL for coming up on 5 years now. Micah Alway is a tackling machine. Cam Judge is, he's exactly who you want at that weak side spot. Like, there's talent, Demurio Houston, but it's not clicking. It's not working. And I honestly, I think that they get very little pressure. They don't have many sacks. But it's not just the sacks, it's the pressure. It's just making quarterbacks uncomfortable. I don't think we've seen enough of it. I think teams can run the ball on them. And in past years, I've been willing to say, oh, well, the offense isn't good. You're on the field too much. But, we're not consistently seeing a Stampeders team that puts the fear of God in its opponents at all. And so, what you guys saw, I mean, understandably, like, I don't pay close attention to every CFL game, so I'm not watching. But what you guys saw last week was not unusual for these Stampeders. I think that, like, even I've had to change my mindset because they were so good for so long that I gave them the benefit of the doubt. The reality is, like, you can ask me about special teams next if you want. They're just not very good.
Well, it's funny. You read my mind. I was looking at the CFL statistics, and special teams is another real black hole. And now you talk to some special teams people, and they'll say, hey, a lot of it just comes down to will and heart. But then you still need some veteran guys, and there is a scheme factor involved. So is it experience? Is it scheme? What's the issue for them on special teams?
I'm going to be careful how I answer this question, but I'm going to try to dance around what I'm trying to say. I think that in the CFL, special teams can often tell you everything you need to know about the buy-in from young players coming in. And I think that when you looked at the Stampeders, particularly sort of when I started from 2016 through 2018, you had these guys who were coming in, and Reggie Begelton will talk about it. 70% of the guys in the locker room truly believed that with a good year or two, their next contract would be in the NFL. So their only way to get that contract was to excel on special teams and to be the best special teams player they could be and then get opportunities on offense or defense. And it worked. And I don't know that we've seen that buy-in over the past couple of years. I mean, I know Mark Killam he's probably the best special teams coach in the league, but it's not working. And I do wonder about the young talent they're bringing in. I'd love to say, oh, well, the spring leagues have had an impact on who the Stampeders get, but that's true of every CFL team. And the regression for the Stamps has been more pronounced. So I don't know. I think that there's a disconnect right now between some of the veterans and some of the younger players in that locker room, and I don't think we're seeing the buy-in that you need from those young players, because special teams is an opportunity. I'm not trying to like make the coach's job easier, but every young player should be saying special teams where I get my start. The world's my oyster from there.
Danny Austin joins us, beat reporter for the Calgary Stampeders. Are in town tomorrow. The rematch, Edmonton looking to sweep, which doesn't happen very often. Heck, they'd only won twice since 2012 on Monday, Labor Day in Calgary. So sweeping is very rare for Edmonton, and overall somewhat rare at times in this home and away series. But the Elks might not have a better chance. They're going up against a rookie quarterback, against a team that is struggling right now. They need a big win. The Stamps have been pretty good at home up until the Edmonton game, but on the road, Danny, they're 0-5. They're the only winless team on the road, and kind of shows a little bit about where a team is at. I find at times, if they're just not competitive away from home.
Yeah, and I will say that there were one or two games. I mean, there was a game against Winnipeg that it's best not to talk about CFL officiating in 2024 because it'll only get you in trouble. But there's a game that they flat out should have won, and there was one of the most ridiculous pass interference calls on Brandon Dozier that I've ever seen or heard. So, the Stamps, they're probably one or two in there, but the reality is when they've gone out east, they've just looked like they have no energy. Like, no one's been more jet lagged from a flight to Toronto or a flight to Ottawa than the Stamps looked back in July, and I don't get it. But as I said, I think, I suspect that I don't think it's going to turn around for these Stamps. I mean, there's other teams that are struggling, and maybe you'll catch one or two of those, but there are going to have to be changes. I'm not saying head coach. I'm not saying what those changes will be, but the way that things have been done for the last couple of years, there has been a regression. I said this earlier, it has been gradually getting worse, and it's now sort of hit its hopefully rock bottom. But I fully agree. You see what teams are when they're on the road. You see them come together. They have that time, and it's just not happening. Yeah, I think that the Stamps, everyone involved, it's like take a good long look at themselves and figure out how it's gotten to this point, because veterans don't seem to want to stay. They're leaving in free agency. They're not attracting elite talent. I don't know why that is, but it's bad right now.
I want to switch gears to a big moment in Calgary. earlier this week, and I'm pretty sure you were there, Danny. There was the vigil for Johnny Gaudreau, and for many days, Flame fans. We saw a lot of the jerseys. A lot of football fans are Flame fans, or Stampeders fans, or sports fans, and so they go to both. But there's quite the outpouring of support for him. Can you describe how it was being there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. Sort of since Friday morning, when I woke up to the news, like people have asked, and I've just said, this is one where there's not a lot of unpacking to do. It's just so sad, right? Like it was real grief around Calgary. And I think, as you guys probably know, in Edmonton, I mean, hockey hasn't been great in Calgary over the last 30 years. And Johnny Gaudreau really sort of, just on the ice, brought in an era where there was actually hope. And represented a lot in terms of being a smaller player and overcoming the odds and what have you. So people, it was heavy last weekend. It really was. And there's just something about the community coming together the way they did on the steps of the Saddle Dome over the weekend, leaving the memorials. And I've got to give the Flames a lot of credit, because what happened on Wednesday night, I'm guessing there were 5,000 people there. It felt as if the Flames were an extension of the community, not as if this was a Calgary Flames event. It felt organic. And there was a connection. Having Michael Bachman up there, I know people in Edmonton might not love the Flames, but obviously, everyone loves their team. And it truly, there was some catharsis. And I think the people, it really meant a lot to me to be there, but I think it meant a lot to people just to be able to hope that maybe the Gaudreau family would see them there and be able to feel the love. That really was the predominant feeling, was just people wanting the Gaudreaus to know that Calgary cared and that they were still part of this hockey community and will always will be. So it was incredibly moving. I needed a long time to be quiet and just kind of sit with myself afterwards, because it was beautiful and lovely to see.
Danny Austin joins us. Danny, we know that the new arena is underway in construction. There was some talk that maybe there was going to be upgrades or a new stadium for football. Obviously, it's one of the oldest stadiums in the league, maybe the oldest. Where are they at as far as that goes? Is there Flames own them? What's the conversation gone on around upgrades at bare minimum? Not necessarily a new facility, but upgrades.
I haven't heard anything. I've asked. I gave up on asking, to be honest, about a couple of years ago. I do not think that we're going to see a new stadium. I don't want to say with this ownership group, because I have no idea how much of it is ownership. But the reality is the city does not have, we barely have running water half the time here. We do not have the money to be building a new football stadium at the same time as a new rink. And the new rink, for obvious financial reasons, was the priority, and they got that done. Realistically, how much is ownership going to put into a new stadium where they draw, at this point, 20,000 fans 9 times a year? You're only going to be willing to invest so much in that. And you hear things about the university and all of that. I have no faith that anything substantial is going to happen. I'm pretty surprised that apparently the Stamps are planning to host the 2026 Grey Cup. But no, I will tell you, if you're planning a trip for 2030, thinking that you're going to have a nice shiny new stadium with concessions that don't have long lines and washrooms that are easily accessible, it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, Edmonton and Calgary are both bidding for 26. I'm not sure who else is in, but I know they are for sure. So new owner in Edmonton, usually they have a little bit of an advantage. It's normally how it works.
I look forward to the 2026 Grey Cup in Edmonton, I will say.
Danny, thanks for this. Enjoy the game.
You bet. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's Danny Austin joining us from Calgary. So Elks fans, if you're going to the game, rookie quarterback on the other side, hey, there's no guarantees in sports. We get it. But man, all arrows are pointing. Edmonton is playing well. Now you've got, a rookie quarterback. They're going to disguise some stuff. That's every good defense does it. Get him uncomfortable, have him question himself, see what happens. And then the way their offense is going, it's not like right now the Elks defense has to be great for them to win. Be good for sure, but it's we got to keep the opposition to fewer than 20 points. No, the Elks have right now the highest scoring team in the league, so they put up points. They had 3 receivers with 100 yards last game. For a few weeks there, they were just running over teams for fun. They got a good running attack, good throwing attack if they need it, and It's supposed to be a beautiful night for football. It's going to be a great crowd. So enjoy it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Lori Ann Munzer will join us. Of course, the Olympics. We got Paralympics to discuss. You have the new players and new situations and all of the stuff as you get ready for a new season to discuss next. The Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can always text us in our inbox 833-401-1440.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information. Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
Rule number 37. Elk Island mosquitoes don't believe in personal space. Keep bug spray ready at all times. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Sipping gin and juice, just trying to stay cool. And I'm sweating buckets bigger than a swimming pool. Cruise to Heritage Mall to enjoy some AC. Then my shorty hears the homies from Legacy. I say, listen, yo, where we gonna get the dough to pay Legacy from the radio? He says Legacy Heating's got a deal that's the bomb with no interest or payments flipping all year long. No money, no problems. That's the life that I choose. Chillaxing with thousands of BTU. Doing whatever the heck that was. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Plaza Friday, roll Sir Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. A lovely Friday, an NFL Friday. Don't say that very often, but they're in Brazil tonight. Eagles, Packers. Woo! Love and hurts. Jeez, love hurts. Kidding me? Could be a song tonight. We'll see what happens. But I can't believe that hasn't even been there. And, I just thought of that right now. And trust me, I'm sure someone else has thought about it before, but I haven't seen anything on the internet mocking that, which I'm kind of surprised, to be honest.
I have not seen that anywhere, Gregor.
Yeah.
You got to check a load of me. I've not seen that yet.
Yeah. So there you go. Little love hurts tonight. We'll see what happens. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Female Super League. It is new for young girls, for 12U and 14U, to help continue their career and help improve their development for a future in hockey. Go to femalesuperleague.com. Lori Ann Munzer, who last month celebrated her 20th anniversary of her gold medal victory at the Olympics. And of course, she also re-released her book. So smart marketing to do it on the 20th anniversary. I know you gave away a few of them on the show last Friday. Lorianne, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm excellent. Now, did you add anything? Like, did you have an update that you added in the book?
Just a little more extended bio in the back.
Okay.
But other than that,
you didn't add like a chapter at the end?
No, I haven't. That's like the 4th edition or the next book. It was kind of a last minute idea that popped out, and somebody said, "Hey, I can't get your book anywhere. It's sold out. How do I get a copy?" And then the more we talked about it, it was like, well, what about if I relaunch it? And it was like, yeah, okay. Well, when do you want to do that? Could you do it next week? And it's like, I need a little bit more time. We had to figure out some logistics. Yep. And then I looked at the timing of it and I went, 8 weeks.
Yeah, just do it by the Olympics when you won 20 years ago. Makes sense.
What about the 20th anniversary? And everything just lined up, and it was, I have to do this. So yeah, we've got it out on Amazon, amazon.ca, amazon.com. Look for the 3rd edition. I'm working on the ebook as well. And then to be launched for Christmas, I'm going to do the audiobook, the audio version.
Well, you've been voicing it, haven't you already?
I have been.
How's that going? How's your voice skills?
It's getting really good. A little scratchy, but I have to start all over again.
What?
Yes.
Would you miss a chapter?
I started from the back.
Yeah.
No, there's a better program out there that's more compatible with the audio requirements.
Right.
So, I took it as a test drive, and sometimes the second round is better.
Okay. Well, and that's something about sports. And here we are as an Olympian. You know what? I know you have a ton of respect. I see you get excited about any sport, but obviously cycling, that's where your heart is. But when you watch the Paralympics and you see people who have obviously some significant disabilities in certain events, I watch the swimmers and I see them, swimming with one arm. Like most of us are dying swimming 200 meters. I don't even know how many people, could I swim 200 meters? Yes. Could I do it fast? Not a chance. And I watch them and I'm always kind of amazed at not only what they do, but how fast they are in lots of different events. And then also how physical, like wheelchair basketball. That game is physical.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And you cannot rush your opponent. You can't physically. I played it once.
Yeah. Oh, but I watch, man, they are crashing in. You kind of set screens and picks and you're just like, oh,
yeah,
it's physical.
It's a physical and a mental game, but it's just, I think the difference there, Jason, is they don't take the word impossible to heart. It's like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it. And they have literally mastered whatever their sports are, whatever their disciplines are. And it truly is a mindset, but it's also a physical game too, because I can't swim that fast with 2 arms and 2 legs, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever played sit volleyball? Have you ever tried wheelchair basketball? What about the winter sports? And it's phenomenal because it's what's possible.
Yeah.
And there's no difference. There's no difference.
Yeah. Yeah. What is possible for sure is unique in this. Is there any sports that you find yourself watching more at Paralympics?
All of them.
All of them.
I can't get any work done. That's the problem. It's you get up early and it's like, oh, I'll do some work. And then out of the corner of your eye, oh, I'll just check, see where, what CBC is streaming or whoever's streaming. And it's impossible. It's just because you end up sitting glued because I'm watching for form, seeing what they're doing, how they start, how they come back. And it's magical. It really is magical.
What I found interesting is earlier she won her 13th Paralympic medal yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And you were telling me before how, like, literally hours before her race, she had and this is somebody who's like, she's tied for the most decorated Paralympian of all time in Canada, right? And obviously, any Olympian, because the most is 7 by DeGrasse and Penny Alexiak, but she has 13. And before her, like, leading the days up to her best race, somehow she'd gotten into a mindset where she was like, well, now I can't race. Like, I don't understand it. How does that happen for an elite athlete?
Jitters, nerves. I've heard of it expressed in a couple different ways. The first is you have a drunken monkey on acid that has just gone awry. And I think we all can kind of see that picture of chaos. But then it's also, too, the thing of butterflies. They're not in formation. And I prefer the butterflies in formation of trying to get them going, because your mind is literally what is going to make the difference of you getting onto the starting block, the podium, and everything in between. But your mind will also take you and knock you sideways of going, there's no way in God's green earth that you're going to be able to do this. What are you thinking? And if you're not in control of that, Jason, you're hooped. Like, you really are. It's what you do in practice that will take you into the competition. But it's no different, but it is different because then it's real, then it's real time. You gotta knock it out of the park properly. And your mind is the difference and the decision maker that will either move you forward into the next heat. And it's going after every fear, after every worry, after every doubt that you have. And that's the only way you could get to the other side. If you don't, you're done.
Lori-Ann Munzer joins us. Lori, I want to ask you, I don't know if you had a chance to read Speck's article the other day. He had an interview with Connor McDavid, and McDavid spoke about how he felt, in his words, sluggish to start the season last year. He trained a lot, thought like maybe he overtrained. And so this year he dialed it back a bit. And so it's funny because we look, oh geez, Connor McDavid felt sluggish and he still finished with 140 points. So it's kind of mind numbing when you look at it that way. But I know you talked about, you made a mistake once where you overtrained, and when you overtrain, it sounds like it takes a long time to catch up, to get back to where you think you should be, right? It's not like, okay, you know what, I'll just take a week off now and I'll calm down, everything will get. Why does it take so long after you overtrain? What is it that keeps you kind of, whether it's heavy legs or just drained, why does it take so much longer to recover from overtraining?
I think probably talking with somebody who is way more versed in physiology than me, if you're overtrained, you really do need to take the time off to recover, because if you want to go faster, you also have to, put in those breaks into your schedule. There's also the mindset too of, am I doing enough? And you can feel sluggish, but your times don't show that you're sluggish. So I don't know the exact warp of that, other than it's a real head game, but it's just, there's how you feel and then how your body is actually performing. And then those are the tests. The other test that comes is the third one of, you have to override it sometimes, where, there's some athletes that they've done some really great training over the summertime, but they come into the season and they are slow or they are sluggish. I mean, we were talking offline here about squats, and just some of the athletes are going away from
back
the
squats,
massive,
a lot of back squats.
but the heavy lifting, because the first thing I said to you was, well, how is this functional? And if it's not functional, well, why are we doing it? And then if you're doing 2 RMs or 3 RMs, rep maxes, why are you doing that? There's also that play in that line of, if you go over the line, you're going to get injured. But what about moving it so that you can go longer and maybe add a 4th set, or just continue the duration of it, so that if you are on the ice for a shift, that you can go for the full shift. You're always wanting to train more than what you're racing or competing in. Because if you're training under and you have to go longer, you're hooped. It just doesn't work out. And there's so many different nuances, but how you feel, how you perform, and then there's always the third option of, well, go for broke.
Lori-Ann Munzer joins us. Lori-Ann, I want to ask you, of course, you knew a thing or two about cycling. Now, I know that Peloton cycling is very different than actual, whether it's on a velodrome or you're racing, up and down mountains, but still, there's a lot of people out there that do it and they like to push themselves. And the great part about it is you can track your personal best on the exact same. If you want to do the same 20-minute workout, the same 30-minute workout, you can do the exact same one. Yes. And so you can test yourself. What if people wanted, because we had a lot of people texting in asking me to ask you this question. And I think a lot of them, it's like, okay, summer's back now. They want to get back in shape. They want to set a PB on their Peloton. Mm-hmm. Outside of biking, what is the best way to help you get faster on a bike?
How to get faster on the bike? A couple things come to mind. Yoga, strength training, so weights.
Now, what kind of way? Is it one-legged Bulgarian split squats? Because we're saying we obviously don't do a lot of heavy weights.
Yep.
So is it lower weight, higher repetition?
Yes.
And is it like single leg deadlift? What do you recommend for weights or workouts for legs that's going to help you build up your leg muscle?
Go back to the basics. Keep it simple. I don't believe in deadlifts because you can really mess your back up.
Okay.
Squats, lunges, hamstring curls, leg extension curls. And the one that almost every athlete forgets about is your abductor adductors. So that's the taking your leg away from the side motion and then also bringing it in, because
how do you do that at home if you don't have a machine? Is there a way?
A TheraBand. Get a really good TheraBand. I would get 2 or 3 of them, low, medium, and really difficult.
Okay.
Take one of the poles maybe in the basement, or take an immovable object, put it in, and then you take the TheraBand around your ankle and you're standing vertically, and you would take, say, your left leg and you would move it away and then come back in.
Okay, so if you have a rack, I'm standing there, and if the rack's beside me, I take my far leg, or is it my close leg?
Well, you
want to pull it out.
Away.
Okay.
You always want to go away,
Mhm.
but then you want to turn around, and then you want to go and do the inner part, the medial part of the leg as well, because you've actually got 4 sides to your quadricep.
And you do it on your ankle, you said, not on your knee?
Yeah,
because your ankle.
Yeah, otherwise, if you've got the TheraBand around your knees, you're doing the monster walk, right?
Yeah, what about the TheraBands around your knees when you're doing squats, like holding it and stuff and going, not that heavy weight? Are you a fan of that or no?
For the general public, either do one or the other, but don't mix them because your form's going to go.
Okay.
So if you're doing squats, start with a body squat. Make sure you got a chair behind you so that if you drop, boom, you've got something to protect you. You don't have to go ass to grass all the way down. Just do the half squats or use the toilet. If you're going to do a one-legged squat, I would start with 2 or 3 reps. And you literally want to, because I know you looked at me funny there, is if you cannot get off the toilet, you're not going to be able to stay in your home. And that's what I talk with seniors and elderly people about. And they're all like, ooh, they're fired up. Okay, if I can get off the toilet.
That's quite the visual, but it makes sense.
But it's true.
It's true. Something you use every day.
Yeah. And if you cannot get off the loo, you're going to be in trouble. So, as maybe a master's athlete doing a one-legged squat, but you come down maximum half because you don't want to drop and get hurt.
Right.
And it's just go to the point where you start to weeble and wobble, come up, and then start building that strength.
What about lateral lunges versus front lunges? Both?
I like starting with the front lunges. Lunges were always my nemesis. And I still will do anything to get away from them. But start with the front lunge, and I would mark with either masking tape or paint tape the spot where you start and the spot where you step, because then you have the same spot and you've got a measurement, because I can tell you you're going to weeble and you're going to wobble.
Oh, God.
So make sure that you hit the right spot. If you are doing the side lateral lunges, I was working with a guy named Wilson at Millennium Place. I was looking at him going, oh, dude, we got to talk. So I said, hey, can I give you a couple pointers? So we went right up to the mirror or the wall, and you want your nose to almost like rub on the mirror of the wall, and take your legs in a wider stance that's comfortable, because then your knee cannot go over your toes. So the wall gives you that line that you just can't cheat. So go within where you can actually start from
rather
side
than
to
lean
side.
forward too much. Is what you're saying.
Because it's actually about your bum coming out behind you. And most people have a terrible form. When you go up against the wall, you have a magic perfect form.
Like obviously glute muscle is very important for any athlete.
Oh,
right? And so like lunges and like building up your and you mentioned yoga, and I know I can tell you, I've been even doing exercises up against the wall where you do and you do a bend over squat, and then you have somebody that you try to push your outside knee out against their hand, and oh my goodness, it lights up your glute like nothing. Like literally, if you hold it for 20 seconds, all of a sudden I'm like, I got to get out of here. I can barely stand up. Like I could not believe it.
Yep.
And what a difference it makes.
Yep. There's one other thing too that I think is really overlooked and overmissed is core. Because your glutes need to be strong, but your core needs to be even stronger.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about, well, what does that mean? Because I do not do any crunches. I do not do any sit-ups because it will shred your back. And it's like, I'd like my back for 100 years. Look up Dr. Stuart McGill's Big Three. His 3 exercises are amazing. Stuart McGill worked with GSP, George St. Pierre, and he helped him rebuild his back and body when he was really hurt and injured. There's 3 core exercises.
Yeah. I'm looking it up right now.
Bird dog, the Stu McGill roll up or curl up is what I call it.
Okay.
And dead bug. Oh my gosh, those are my soul favorites. Those are so cool. And there's dead bug is so good. Okay, then take it up.
No. I say it's just like when I say that Bulgarian split squats suck. I know they're really good for you.
Yep.
So
Well, do a dead bug with a big core ball and do them really slow. See, this is not about how fast you can go through.
Side plank is one of his big 3.
That one is rotten.
And then when you get your top leg and you try to hold it out.
Oh yeah. And do bird dog with the arms out to the side, legs out to the side, hold for 5 or 10 seconds, come back in.
Yeah, like one knee, like opposite arm, straight forward. Yeah.
Opposite arm, opposite leg. Yeah. Also known as bird dog.
So you don't even need a lot of weight to strengthen your core.
You don't. Yeah. No. And it's literally just go back to the basics. The basics are the fundamentals. And if you can move your body weight, that's awesome. I mean, that's what we used to do in school. What was it? Participation. We used to do all those exercises and the calisthenics. Simple, but the most important thing is your speed. It's got to be controlled because your form, if it's sloppy, you might as well just go out and do something else.
Lori-Ann, great stuff. We appreciate it. Quickly, are you speaking at the Crusaders golf tournament?
I am. Yeah.
That's next week?
It is on Thursday, September the 12th. Yeah. 9:00 start. Shotgun. They're looking for a couple teams.
I think I got a few teams left. So if you're out in Sherwood Park, you want to play, it's next Thursday. Lori-Ann will be are you playing?
No, I'm not going to be playing. I'm going to be coming in I'm bringing
Suck it up, Buttercup. Get out there.
Yeah. Yep. I know. Next one. But I am bringing a small piece of hardware with me. So I'll be passing it around.
Okay. That'll be great. Awesome. We'll talk to you next Friday. Have a great weekend.
You betcha.
That's Olympic gold medalist Lori-Ann Munzer. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Ewell, your local electrical distributor. Servicing the City of Champions and Alberta for 76 years. Now they have a 24/7 store where you can do all your shopping, get all your electrical gear. Go to ewel.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Week 1 in the NFL continues tonight as we got some action from Brazil. Philly taking on the Green Bay Packers. That one starting at 6:15. Russell Wilson currently listed as questionable for the Steelers as they kick off their season in Atlanta. Justin Fields taking first-team reps at quarterback earlier today in the Buffalo Bills, signing right tackle Spencer Brown to a 4-year extension, keeping him through the 2028 season. He was selected back in 2021 in the 3rd round out of Northern Iowa. In the CFL, we got a game tonight, Montreal, BC, kicking off at 5:30. Then tomorrow, a triple header, Ottawa, Toronto, Saskatchewan, in Winnipeg. And then at 5 o'clock down at Commonwealth, the Elks look to make it 2 straight over the Stampeders. That one gets going, like I said, at 5 o'clock. Major League Baseball right now heading into the bottom of the 9th. No, it's wrapping up. The Yankees knocked off the Cubbies 3-0. The Blue Jays are in action. They've got a weekend set in Atlanta to take on the Braves. It gets going tonight at 5:20. Both games tomorrow and Sunday can be heard right here on Sports 1440 radio feed only at the Paralympics. Sebastian Masabi won gold in the pool 50-meter freestyle, and Canadian wheelchair racer Cody Fournier has won his 2nd gold medal of the games in the T51 100-meter. Fournier also won the 200-meter gold on Tuesday. Right now, Canada 8 golds, 7 silvers, and 8 bronze for 23. That's 13th place. And U of A action, the Golden Bears football team taking on the UFC Dinos down at Field. That gets going at 7 o'clock. You've got hockey as well. The Pandas tonight taking on Mount Royal at the Drake at 7. Golden Bears tomorrow against Mount Royal, also at 7 o'clock down at Clare Drake. And soccer, Tomorrow, you've got the Golden Bears take on the UC Dinos at 2:15 at Footfield. Also at Footfield at noon, University of Alberta up against Regina. That's the Pandas. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated to talk some NFL, and we'll hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
In 100 meters, turn right. Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. There's the sausage, bacon, and egg, a crispy seasoned chicken one. A spicy and egg, worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing, too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax at participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
Teach Calgary their ABCs at the Labor Day rematch. Your Edmonton Elks face the Calgary Stampeders on Saturday, September 7th at 5 p.m. It's Family Day, presented by Save On Foods. Kids get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket, plus an expanded pregame kids zone. Tickets and more at goelks.com.
7 gin and juice, just trying to stay cool. And I'm sweating buckets bigger than a swimming pool. Cruise to Heritage Mall to enjoy some AC. Then my shorty here's the homies from Legacy. I say, listen, yo, where we gonna get the dough to pay Legacy from the radio? He says Legacy Heating's got a deal that's the bomb with no interest or payments all year long. No money, no problems. That's the life that I choose. Chillaxing with thousands of BTU. Doing whatever the heck that was. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names
Positive
from
Friday
entertainment
smiles,
and
huggy body,
exhilarating
kissy
sporting
face.
events.
Friday night. Right, sorry. Okay, Jason, on a serious note, thank you for letting me be part of the Sports 1440 team. And thanks to Connor Halley for all the grunt work and encouragement. You know, I graduated from radio and television arts over there at Nate.
Get your tickets now and visit our
Day
full
Friday,
calendar
Gregor
of
Show,
events at
Sports 1440.
edmontonexpocenter.com.
Just after 3 o'clock on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. It is a positive Friday. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger also along for the afternoon. We'll find out. It's a big weekend for the deck man. It's first time as a groomsman. We had all the tips yesterday on what not to do. Going for the garter and then bleeding all over your tuxedo from a broken nose. That might have been my favorite. Only because I've seen a lot of garter tosses. I don't know if I've ever seen one that physical that would lead to a broken nose. I've seen did the broken nose happen because you were trying to get away from the garter? I've seen that more than I've seen. I actually did see once almost a melee amongst some ladies for the bouquet. That was, there was elbows up, cons. It got rather aggressive because I think they waited a little too long in the evening, so there's maybe a little bit more fluid involved in the decision making. It was like, I want to say 11:30 or 11 o'clock, and I still remember. I was just like, it was. There was a lot of jostling. It was like they were under the basket, cons, looking for a rebound. Elbows all of a sudden just naturally come up.
Got to throw the bows. Yeah, when you want something, you got to do whatever it takes to get it. The not breaking your nose, I thought that was kind of like an unwritten rule. Don't bleed all over people. But glad we got the text in just to confirm that.
Yeah, but he only bled on himself. So
yeah,
I guess that was the, that was the good news. He didn't bleed on anybody else, right? And yeah, hey, I never want to be a bleeder. We get all that. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, Greg's on with you, man. I never go under. Who would bet for a low-scoring game? It's true. Why would you want it? Unless you're like a Devils fan in the 90s. And I get that it happens, so I understand it. I'm just saying I don't like it. I can't convince myself to do it.
You'd rather lose.
Well, no. Well, see, if last night I thought, although it only ended up being a point, but I was like, Ravens, Chiefs, they're going to score more than 46 points. Come on. But it was only 47. Now it was an inch away from being 54. So, I was a little surprised by that, but I was looking, speaking of the over, because it's 49.5 tonight for Green Bay and the Jets. And so I did a quick little research. You know how many games in Europe have been over 49 lately? How about one? You had the Vikings and the Saints back in 2021. That was 28-25. That was in 2021. Then you got to go Carolina and Tampa Bay in 2019. And there's just not a lot of them. So, the Jags did give it to the Ravens 2017. What the hell went on there? Wembley Stadium, 44-7. Ravens fans, what was going on? Well, that was pre-Lamar days, so I guess maybe that would explain it a little bit. But getting pounded by the Jacksonville Jaguars, although that's kind of like a home game. That was when the Jags were playing every year they'd play over there. So, I don't know kind of what to expect between the Jets tonight and the Vikings, the quarterback position. What's your expectations? Can Sam Darnold, can he be the next Baker Mayfield? Right? Remember when people thought Baker was done and he turned into a pretty good quarterback? Darnold's got Jefferson. He's got a legit weapon. And Addison, when healthy, pretty decent. So do you think, what's your expectations and I'm curious for Vikings fans on Sam Darnold? What do you think happens? Because you know what? It's not like he has any pressure. Oh, geez, JJ McCarthy's here. They're going to let him rest for 1 week. And if I don't play well, he's coming in. Well, that ain't happening, right? He's done for the year. It's pretty much his job. Do you think he could be a guy? And who am I? I'm missing the other quarterback. There's two guys who've done it lately, and Baker, Tannehill, and even another one that were, kind of duds and then came on and were just competent. Like Baker Mayfield's had some pretty good numbers.
Yeah, I mean, Baker could always throw the football, right? I think it was just kind of
he can throw the football, but you didn't know which team it was going to.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a Jameis Winston almost. It's going to be fun. Whoever he throws to, he's going to provide excitement. Tannehill was one I kind of thought of, but he went to a team with Derrick Henry where you had to stack the box and allow him to make those decisions. I don't know how confident I am. If I'm a Vikings fan, and I know we've got a few Vikings fans that listen to the show on a daily basis, low expectations. I think that's how it's going to be. Like we're not expecting the most. Hopefully Aaron Jones can reestablish the run game and Ty Chandler can do the same. And then you're finding ways to get the ball into Justin Jefferson's hand. Sam Darnold was selected, third overall by the Jets. Like he's got talent, but I think it's the mental side of the game. He admitted it. He said he saw ghosts against the Patriots. I don't think there's too many quarterbacks that would come out there and say like, yeah, I just couldn't read that defense. It was kind of a weird soundbite, a young guy. But I think the last few years, especially going through into San Francisco, maybe learning a few things there, making the jump to the Minnesota Vikings. We know O'Connell's got a good system for quarterbacks. There was guys that jumped into the system last year and had some success. So I think we're going to see okay from quarterback play from Sam Darnold. I don't know if I'd hang my hat on it. I don't know if it's going to be a Pro Bowl type performance, but I think he'll be okay. It's just that division's tough. The Lions, Bears, Packers are all going to provide a lot of problems for him. So I don't think they're winning. I think I got the penciled in for 4th spot, but I don't think Sam Darnold's going to be, the terrible bust that some people look at him as.
No, I don't think so. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Of course, Cam Tate, a longtime journalist, has got cerebral palsy, in a wheelchair. He's always wanted to be on radio, but due to his disability, that wasn't really an option until now with the wonders of technology as Cam Tate's words come to audio in the 2-minute warning.
Positive Friday, smiles, huggy body, kissy face, Friday night. Right, sorry. Okay, Jason, on a serious note, thank you for letting me be part of the Sports 1440 team. And thanks to Connor Halley for all the grunt work and encouragement. I graduated from radio and television arts over there at NAIT in 1978. On the last day of class, my instructor told me, and I am not making this up, I would never work in the media. My Hope One listener, here's what we do on Sports 1440 and unpacks the dream. Do not talk Elks. Sure you do. Thanks for all of you who voted on today's poll over there on Twitter, Elks. That was the big winner. And so it should be by our news throw up to Country Mile. Absolutely. The Edmonton Elks have taken their game and have not only ran with it, but passed with it, kicked with it, scrambled with it, and more to be the, get Ray here, Gregor, the hottest team in the Canadian Football League. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? I am sure I'm not the only sports head out there who compared the Elks to the Edmonton Oilers, who had their own malfunctions at the junction coming out of the gate. We wrote them off, didn't we? Early November. Remember, look how far they got. And how they did it down 3 games, Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup Finals, and lost in Game 7, Gregor and Comman. If either of you two sweethearts have a pen, write this down. Today, this afternoon, right now, the Edmonton Elks will be in the Grey Cup, and that's right, Tomo night, September 7th. Every football fan needs to be at the football game. You too, young Declan Kruger, who is a groomsman at a wedding. Bring the entire wedding guests, group sales. There you go. Okay, sorry. But the Elks have proven they are worthy of a big crowd. Sure having to do it at home against the Calgarys. Nice. Maybe you need to have conversations about the City of Champions sign to, are you ready? City of Comebacks, because there ain't nothing we can't handle. Please consider signing an Organoa card. 2-minute warning, Monday, Friday, Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Well, the Elks, yeah, they got an opportunity here to put themselves legitimately in the playoffs race in the West Division. You beat Calgary, you jump over them, you're in 4th. And you'll either be 2 back of Winnipeg or 1 back of Saskatchewan. Now, I guess technically you could be 2 back of Saskatchewan if they tie, because they've already tied once. So I guess in theory, that's a possibility, but unlikely. So I would say they're either going to be 1 back of Saskatchewan, and then it would still be 4 back of Winnipeg, or they will be 2 back of Winnipeg and 3 back of Saskatchewan if they win. So that's where they sit. The BC Lions also involved in that, and then there's the Toronto Argonauts. If they lose, all of a sudden you're 2 back of the crossover, and so then you are legitimately in the playoff race. Why? Because you play Winnipeg twice, you play Saskatchewan once, and you play Toronto once. All the teams that you would be battling for. And they play the lowly Calgary Stampeders one more time. So this is a huge opportunity, not only in the standings, but I think it's a big opportunity to to get some enjoyment, a little bit of loyalty back, maybe. And I'm not saying that the fans were disloyal. The fans, maybe interest is a better word, because I don't question the fans' loyalty, but their interest waned, and rightfully so. Why wouldn't it? The team's been terrible for many years. So, and they haven't been able to win at home. So the fact that you can get a win at home would be massive in front of what's going to be your biggest crowd of the season. There is lots of reasons that then the final 5 games for the Elks would be something that a lot of people would be watching. Then there would be a lot more interest, and they're exciting. So that's good. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, please, for the love of anything, don't let the Vikings get hurt. We will be better than 500 and hopefully make the playoffs. From Skull. That's a hashtag Skull from Edmonton. Rob, huge Vikings fan. Now, wasn't it, who was the rookie? Was it last year, Cons? There was that gruesome injury in Europe. And so I know that they're talking about, is the turf going to be good? Now, this turf, though, I did some research on it last night, not research, just reading up on it. This is the exact same turf they have for the Eagles. So it shouldn't be a factor. Now, it's the same turf. Is it put in the same? That I don't know. Right? Is it maintained the same? I don't know that. But it is the same turf. So, well, it's not turf, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that wasn't good, man. Yeah. Really? Okay. But yeah, that was an ugly, and it was gruesome. Yeah, not good at all. So you don't wish that on anybody. Right? And I'm sure Jets fans will be watching this game and watching the first snap. Kind of like a horror movie where you have your hands over your face. You open your fingers a bit just so you can see, did Aaron Rodgers make it through the first snap? All right. Automatically, it's uphill. Oh, sorry. It's Eagles-Packers today. Yeah. Jets Monday.
They got to exercise those demons.
Well, honestly, last Monday night. First snap. No, was it a Monday? It wasn't Monday Night Football.
Monday night against the Bills
last year too. Ooh, jeez. God, Mo from First Round, our buddy, he's a big Jets fan. He's probably a little nervous watching that. Where do you come out on the Jets? It's funny. Like, lots of people are really high in the Jets.
I picked them to win the division. I think if they stay healthy, they're extremely good.
You think they're better than the Bills and the Dolphins?
If they stay healthy, yeah. I mean,
why?
But there's so many. Like, Mike Williams has to stay healthy. Breece Hall has to stay healthy. Aaron Rodgers has to stay healthy. Their defense was outstanding last year. They've got a really good defense. More your time in the system, more players developing. Breece Hall, if he stays healthy, I think he'll be a top 2 running back in football.
Yeah. Now, isn't it on Monday night? I read it. I think it was Rappaport. Somebody had the interview with Floyd. Lloyd or Floyd? I think it's Floyd, who sacked him last year on the injury, and now he's on the 49ers, so he's going to play the exact same guy.
Leonard Floyd?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm wondering if they're like, hey, guys, whatever we do, he's not getting sacked on the first. We're just doing a run play.
Yeah.
Let's just take the first snap. It's a run play. Like, at playalberta.ca, do they have what the first play of the game could be for the Jets offense? Because if it is, I'm putting money down that it's a run. It's a run. Just let's get it out of the way. No way. There's no chance that we want the same thing to occur again. I'd be running the ball. Breece Hall, just so you know, we're scripting the first 10 plays, first 15 plays. You're running the ball the first snap. Guaranteed. You're running the ball. Guaranteed. Hey, Gregor, 2-1 games are more intense than 6-5, but the 6-5 is more exciting. I like both. I hate 8-1 games. Do you honestly think a 2-1 game is more intense? See, I disagree. There's no lead change. There's not as much roller coaster. I will say, and 6-5, by the way, I think when we say high scoring, 6-5 is like really high scoring. There's never been 6-5 games on a regular basis, right? The highest scoring era in hockey was when you had over 4 goals a game per team. So that's 8 goals, not 11. Right? Oh, you guys just want offense? No, 4-3 games. 4-3 games. 5-4 games, which are rare. But 4-3, 5-3, empty netter. I'll take a game where there's up and down. You got a 1-goal lead. Now it's tied. Oh, another lead. I like that better. Just me. I find that is actually more intense. But everybody's going to be different on what they watch. I like it. A good 2-1 game, that's fine. Every now and then, don't get me wrong. But if I got 10 games and I could have the same score all 10 games, I would take 4-3 all day long in hockey. That would be my ideal score. You're going to get goals. You're probably going to get some big saves, and you're still going to have a close game. When we come back, AJ Gass. We might have to relive some fun Labor Day memories with Gasser, but more importantly, we're going to talk a little youth sport. How about the Bears tonight? If you're looking for something to do, go watch the Bears. They're 1-0, ranked 7th in the country, and have an opportunity to go 2-0. They got their tailgate party. Everything gets going at 5 o'clock. We'll talk about that on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing? Every Friday after 4 p.m., it's 9 and Dine Fridays. Includes golf for 2 with a power cart at Cattail Crossing and a $50 food voucher at Out of Bounds Restaurant. Only $119.99. Tea times can be booked at cattailcrossing.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
The Brick's famous tent sale continues with up to 60% off clearance items in the tent and store, and up to $1,600 off exclusive tent sale specials. Plus, find incredible deals in every department, like up to 50% off mattresses, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 30% off sofas. Come on by while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
.327, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. AJ Gass will be by in the next hour at 4:20 to talk a little UA. Just want to give you a heads up if you're planning on going. Should be a fun night, but yeah, U of A, of course, started their season on the road with a 42-28 victory over UBC last week, and we'll look to start 2-0. Got a good team. Real fun. Let's talk. Let's go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical. Where? You got Tag. You are looking for solar. If you're just looking for upgrades on all things electrical, they can help you out. ActionElectrical.net. As Matt Bertram joins us from Sports Illustrated, NFL writer. And Matt, the NFL season begins last night. Boom, a rare Friday night game tonight. And then, of course, a full slate of games on Sunday, followed by the Monday nighters. What was your biggest takeaway from last night's game?
Game's probably the wildest game I've ever covered in person. Certainly the ending. My biggest takeaway is that the Chiefs' explosiveness on offense is back. Look, I know we can sit there and talk about the 35-yard pass. Well, the Ravens busted the coverage. That's fine. His speed is incredibly evident. The reverse, I thought he was going to be tackled for like a 5-yard gain, and it wasn't even touched. Rice had a huge night. They're going to get Hollywood Brown back maybe as soon as next weekend. They scored 27 points against the league's top scoring defense last year. They could have easily scored 37 some odd points in that game. I mean, they moved the ball without much problem at all. If that is a portent of things to come for Kansas City's offense, they're a much better team than they were a year ago.
Well, they're definitely faster. There's no doubt about it. What we saw last night from Travis Kelce, him and Noah Gray, each had 3 catches. They each had 37 and 34 yards, respectively. At the start of the year, they said they were going to kind of limit his snaps. Is this what Chief fans should get used to, at least for the majority of the regular season, and maybe it ramps up at the end of the year?
I think if the Chiefs are smart, that's what they should do, honestly. I mean, look, this season for the Chiefs is about one thing. It's about trying to be a three-peat champion, trying to do something no one's ever done in the Super Bowl era. This is not about somebody getting to 1,000 yards. Not about somebody playing 80% of the snaps and hitting some incentives. And they don't care. I mean, this is about staying healthy, being there in January, and being full tilt. And Noah Gray just paid him 3 years, $19 million. I mean, that's real money for a tight end. That's real, and certainly for a backup tight end. So, look, I think the Chiefs are going to be judicious. There were even times last night when Chris Jones took snaps off, George Karlaftis was out of the game, and they are going to rotate these guys. And look, they're going to do in their mind what they need to do to win, but probably not much more. And last night, look, they won by a toenail, literally, but they won. And they're not going to care. They're going to happily walk out of there 1-0.
Yeah. Tonight, what's your thoughts on the whole Brazil experiment by the NFL?
Well, I don't love it from the standpoint that the players are basically being quarantined to their rooms because the NFL is so concerned about everything going on down there.
Yeah.
If I were the Eagles or Packers, I'd be furious. I would not be happy about the whole situation. I would not be surprised if this is a one-and-done deal going down to Brazil. Look, it makes for a very tense atmosphere. It makes for a somewhat joyless atmosphere as far as the players are concerned and the executives and the coaches are concerned. That being said, I expect the game to be a very good game. I mean, Philadelphia, could you find a bigger wild card in football than them? I mean, maybe the Jets, but I mean, the Eagles, are they a 7-win team or are they a 13-win team? And, what's to make of Hurts and Sirianni? And on the Packers side of things, 7 seed last year, 9-8. I think a lot of us, myself included, expect them to be a Super Bowl contender. So you're going to find out. Listen, everybody's different week 1 to week 10 to week 18, but it'll be very curious. I'll be very curious to see how these teams look out of the chute down in São Paulo.
Wow. And then you throw in the fact, and I saw the one storyline, like they're playing in a stadium where their fans loathe green, right? That's their biggest rival, and you got 2 teams wearing green. Now, I know it's not the same, but you know what? You've talked about it earlier. They're basically quarantined there. Like hooliganism and like it's just a different culture. It's very different than what we have here. And I'm very curious what's going to happen tonight around the game itself, not on the field, but more off the field.
Yeah, look, I mean, there are real security concerns down there. I mean, this is not just something that, it's over. I mean, they told the players, if you're outside the hotel, don't take your phone out of your pocket. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. That's an insane situation. And I know a lot of the players, and Darius Slay was pretty open about the fact that bringing his family down there. I really thought the NFL should have considered scrapping it and just playing it in Philadelphia. Now, obviously, that's not the case. They're down there, they're going to play. But I can't remember another NFL game played under such conditions. I mean, they played in Mexico, played obviously in England, Germany, and they had to cancel one Mexico City game years ago with the Chiefs and the Rams because of the field concerns. That ended up being a famous, crazy 54-51 Monday night game. But you never had any concern about security. I mean, that is a whole nother level of anxiety, and certainly something, unfortunately, both teams are dealing with.
Matt Verneram joins us. Matt, what is your thoughts are expectations on Darnold with the Vikings? He's got arguably the best receiver in the league, right? Addison's, when healthy, is pretty good talent as well. Could this guy be, I'm not saying he's going to live up to where he was drafted, but we've seen some guys take more time. Warren Moon's a firm believer that it's more about a lack of patience at the lack of development than a lack of skill for a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. What do you think happens with Darnold in Minnesota this year?
If I'm being honest, I mean, my expectations are pretty much beneath the floorboards at this point for Sam Darnold. I mean, I just think, we saw him with the Jets. It wasn't good. We saw him in Carolina. He had 3 games where people were talking about him like an MVP candidate, and then the bottom fell out. The Niners, obviously, we're talking a cup of coffee, and he's fine. I think O'Connell is a very good coach. He is surrounded by real talent. The Vikings have tremendous receiving core. They have a real running back. I think Aaron Jones is going to have a good year for him. He's got very good tackles. My concern with him is the concern I always have with him. If he gets pressure, it's a disaster. And their interior or the offensive line is a disaster. He is not that mobile. It's just pressure up the gut. He's going to turn the ball over based on everything we've seen in his history. Look, I just think the Vikings, if McCarthy was there, they'd be somewhat interesting to me. I saw them in camp. I thought McCarthy looked spectacular the day I was there.
Yeah.
But Darnold, I think it's going to be what it always is. A lot of sacks, a lot of turnovers, and a lot of, quarterback play.
The AFC East, fascinating. The Dolphins, the Bills. A lot of people are really high on the Jets. Obviously, if Aaron Rodgers can make it through the first snap, things are looking up. I'd hand the ball to Breece Hall, guaranteed on the first play, just to ensure that we're better than we were last year. But what do you make of those 3? We know the Patriots are going to be at the basement in that division, but who do you like the most of those 3?
It's an odd division in the sense you could make a case for any of them to be an 11-win team, win the division, be a factor in the playoffs. You could also make a case for any of them to go 8-9. I am going to kind of wince and take the Bills. I still believe they have the best quarterback in that division by a significant margin. I like Cook a lot. I like Kincaid a lot. The rest of that offense, questions abound. I have no idea you're getting out of Keon Coleman. Curtis Samuel's fine. Shakir is fine. Defensively, the loss of Milano is massive. I don't think it can be overstated. I do not think they're going to be a top 10 defense by any stretch. It might be more like a top 20 defense. But I don't believe in the Jets because A, they're the Jets, and B, they have so many guys who you just say, yeah, it's probably going to get hurt at some point. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins, maybe this is lazy analysis, but it's just the truth for me. I feel like I've seen the movie. I just see, they'll be great against bad teams. They'll be great when it's 80 and sunny. And whenever they play somebody who's good or it's below 50 degrees, they're probably losing. And I just can't buy into that. So I'll take Buffalo, but honestly, it could go any direction.
Do you have a team that is your surprise team this year that's going to make the playoffs? I think Houston would be that team last year for a lot of people. I'm not sure. Right. I don't know if anybody had CJ Stroud, and Dell and everybody, what they did there. So do you have a surprise team this year?
I'll look at the same division. I think Indianapolis has a chance to be a very intriguing team. Now, look, I do not think that the Colts are going to be a Super Bowl contender. I'm not saying that. I don't think there's a world here where they're in New Orleans in February. But they've got real weapons on that team. Downs is a better receiver than people realize. He's a very good rookie year. Pittman is excellent. Jonathan Taylor feels like he's been in the league forever. He's 25 years old. A.D. Mitchell is a really intriguing, nice piece as a second-round rookie receiver out of Texas. I saw him in camp. He was really proficient in the way he ran his routes. Good hands. Defensively, I like the front seven a lot. Now, the secondary is an abomination. That might sink them. Okay. But if the secondary is even just passable, Steichen is such a great offensive mind, and with an athlete like Richardson, who I think is a high IQ guy, I think he's going to get that offense down pat. I would not be shocked if we're sitting here in November going, hey, the Colts are 7-4, and they're pretty interesting. I like them.
Okay. What about the Jacksonville Jaguars? They were 9th against the run last year on defense, and you could make a strong argument that they're better defensively. What do you make of their quarterback? And is this year we finally see them take a step?
They're a very interesting team in the sense, look, they were 8-3 last year in the 1 seed after 12 weeks, and then missed the playoffs. A lot of it due to injury. I think they're a borderline playoff team. I worry about their pass defense if you can block them, and that's going to be a challenge because they have a good pass rush. But their secondary is not great. You can throw the ball all over their back seven. Offensively, I like them picking up Mitch Morse at center. I don't like the trade-off of Calvin Ridley for Gabe Davis. Now, they brought in Brian Thomas Jr. We'll see how he plays. Maybe he's the answer. I think they're going to be right there. I think they're a 9 to 10 win team. It just kind of depends on how breakers go. Are they healthy? But I think they're a borderline playoff team, and they're dangerous because Lawrence is a good quarterback.
Yeah, well, he is, and I do agree with you wholeheartedly on their pass defense. That's the one issue that they have. But as you mentioned, I think people forget they were 8-3, but they got to be the only 8-3 team in NFL history to miss the playoffs.
There have been a few. I mean, Miami, I think in the 90s was like 8-2 one year. So were the Raiders. They missed the playoffs. It does happen, but it's rare.
Okay.
The AFC is really, to me, it's the Chiefs, and then it's this open question like, well, who the hell can challenge them? And who can do it? Because we watched Baltimore do it last night to an extent, but it also felt like a game that the Ravens are lucky they lose by 17 points. Can Miami do it? Not if they got to go to Arrowhead in January. I don't think they can do it. Can Buffalo do it? I mean, we've seen that. Buffalo's tried to beat us throughout the last 4 years. The players can never do it. Can the Jets do it? I don't know. Can Cincinnati's the one team you look at and go, hey, they've got confidence. They know they can.
Yeah.
What do they look like? Obviously, there's been a lot of tumult in Cincinnati. But I think that's the open air question in the AFC. Like, who the hell is going to go into Arrowhead and beat them? I mean, that's kind of like what it was for 20 years with New England and Foxborough. Who's going to go in there and do it? And, right now, that is a very open-ended question.
Well, the crazy thing was the Chiefs, they were the number 3 seed last year and still got out of the AFC. Yeah. And you talked about it. Your biggest takeaway was they're explosive again offensively. And so if they are the number 1 seed, it's hard for me to think somebody's going to go in there and knock them off. Obviously, teams have done it, so it's possible, but it would seem rather challenging. What about the NFC? The NFC seems maybe a little bit more wide open. Now, the top teams are there for sure. I think Detroit's really good. What do you make of the NFC East? The Eagles, the Cowboys, and then is Washington a clear step below them, and then the Giants 9 steps below them?
Yeah, probably. Washington does interest me because if Daniels is good out of the gate, they're going to be good defensively. So maybe there's a world where we're sitting here and Washington's that surprise team like we talked about. You go, oh, wow, okay. Washington, maybe a playoff team. The Giants are terrible. The Giants, I think, defensively are good in the front seven. They're not going to score a point. They just can't score. I don't know how the hell they're going to score points. I think on the whole, yes, I would agree. I think if I had to pick a team in that division, it's probably Dallas, but I don't have any confidence saying that. The Cowboys are so bizarre. If Philadelphia doesn't beat itself, then you look at Philly and go, all right, well, they're probably the more talented team, top to bottom. But there's this looming specter of what goes on with Sirianni. Are they going to play for him? Do they not? Can they not stand him? It's just a very, very weird situation. We're going to kind of get the first bit of that answer here tonight against Green Bay.
Matt, thanks for this. For fun, who is your biggest breakout fantasy player?
Oh my God, fantasy and me do not mix. But biggest fantasy breakout. I'm trying to think of who I would pick as like. You know what? I said I really like the Colts. I think Michael Pittman's going to have a huge year. So I'll say Pittman. Obviously, he's been a good player for a while. It's not like that's breaking news, but I'll say he's a guy who maybe has like 1,400 yards. He becomes a huge factor.
Oh, I like. Hey, Matty, I drafted him, so I'm loving that answer. Thank you very much. I hope you're right. I was getting chirp when I took him, so hopefully you're right. We'll talk to you again soon, man. Enjoy the Friday nighter.
Thanks, Jason. Take care.
There you go. That's Matt Bergeram from Sports Illustrated. Man, there's lots going on tonight. You got NFL. You have the Bears, U of A Golden Bears football at 7 o'clock if you want to go. Also, I know many of you are going to Rogers Place tonight. WWE Friday Night SmackDown. I know Cody Rhodes has teamed up. There's some. Now, I'm assuming these are limited edition. Oilers combination with Rhodes t-shirts. Connor Halley. Have you seen them?
No, I can definitely say I haven't seen them yet.
And I think Rhodes even has like an Oilers belt.
Oh.
Yeah. Because we had David sent us this, and I was looking and I found the picture. So trust me, I'm not that up to date on wrestling, so I don't want to take any credit for it. There was not Dave. Thank you very much for pointing out. I went and found it, and I actually found a tweet about it. And the belt actually looks not bad. Rogers Place at Rogers Place. Cons, we'll get you to put it up on our take those photos, put them up on our Facebook page and on social media for Sports 1440. For wrestling fans, like, I'm not one of those guys who mocks people who like wrestling. I've never understood it because most of you at one point in your life were kind of a fan. Now, some are more diehards. Nothing wrong with it. My son's kind of getting into wrestling. He wants to go to a show. And I'm like, dude, we'll go. I'll be honest. I didn't know it was coming to Edmonton. So that's dad fail right there. Huge dad fail on my part. Because I would have went tonight. Why not? It's not like he has a favorite wrestler yet. But the belt looks pretty good. It's orange and blue, of course. Got the big Oilers logo in the middle of it. And their T-shirt is an Edmonton Oilers 2024. And then it has Finish the Story. Something tells me Oilers fans might like that. Now, I wonder, is that going to be their slogan this year? Finish the story? Would the back say, and then you get glory? I don't know. We'll see. 347. I'm curious, wrestling fans, how many of you are going tonight? What is your favorite wrestling show you've been to? We haven't talked wrestling in a while. I can tell you exactly my favorite wrestling moment because it was the first one I ever went to. As a young kid, I was like wide-eyed, and I was like, what is happening here? It was chaos and great. And you got to remember, I was young. I thought like, oh my God, like this, like, well, the action of the fans was real. But I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, this is great. Because I grew up, I watched a lot of Stampede Wrestling. That's what we watch. All right, like I still remember my grandfather, who was not really a big TV guy, but Saturday afternoons, Stampede Wrestling came on. He sat in his chair. Right, he had 27 grandkids. And his chair, when you knew, I don't care how old you were, when wrestling was on, Grandpa was in his chair and he would watch it. And it was so funny, just his commentary. Like, he loved Ed Whalen. He loved the whole thing. It was awesome. So, yeah, we'll talk your favorite wrestling event you've been to. Next, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox.
Hey, it's Brad McCrory from St. Albert Dodge. It's September, back to school time, and we're making it easier with great deals, like up to 10 grand cash back on selected vehicles, 20% off 2024 Ram 1500s, no payments for 90 days on selected vehicles, and how's this? A brand new Jeep Compass 4x4 for only $37,000. If you're looking for a new vehicle, don't buy until you talk to us. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
In 100 meters, turn right. Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, there's the sausage, bacon, and egg, a crispy seasoned chicken one, a spicy and egg, worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax at participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Sipping gin and juice, just trying to stay cool. And I'm sweating buckets bigger than a swimming pool. Cruise to Heritage Mall to enjoy some AC. Then my shorty hears the homies from Legacy. I say, listen, yo, where we gonna get the dough to pay Legacy from the radio? He says Legacy Heating's got a deal that's the bomb with no interest or payments flipping all year long. No money, no problems. That's the life that I choose. Chillaxing with thousands of BTU. Doing whatever the heck that was. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
They say at any given moment, only 7% of people are looking for a car, and that 7% notices advertising for cars. Everyone else, 93%, doesn't even hear it. So this ad is just for the 93% who aren't going to really notice any car ads right now anyway. Hey, it's Scott here from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. And I hope you, yes, you, the person listening right now, I hope you have a great day. Anyway, that's it. I'm done.
Every kid deserves a bike. That's why Sports Central aims to collect over 1,000 bikes in their second annual bike drive. If you have an unused or outgrown bike, give it a new purpose. Drop it off on Saturday, September 7th, 14th, 21st, or 28th between 10 and 3 at Bonnie Doon Center, Fountain Tire on 158th Street, 137th Ave, or the Distribution Center in Atchison, Revolution Cycle Downtown, or United Sport and Cycle South. Visit sportscentral.org for details and to donate. Brought to you in part by Sports 1440.
It's all good. $3:53. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on a lovely Friday afternoon. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Feel free to get involved. 833-401-1440. It's always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can get involved online, of course, watching at Orders Nation YouTube and Facebook, as well as on X and Instagram. We're all over the place. I love it. It's fantastic. And many of you have lots of them. Story. Hey guys, Stampede Wrestling was the first wrestling show I saw in person. Drayton Valley, Frank Maddox High School Gymnasium. It was amazing back in the mid-'80s as a young teenager. The Cuban assassin hiding a fork in his beard was hilarious. We couldn't figure out how the referee never noticed. Wade from Drayton Valley. Well, I can tell you mine, Wade, was at the old Edmonton Gardens. I was, I don't know, 7 or 8. And I remember showing up. And I still vividly remember where our seats were. So they would come out of the change room, right? And you know how you walk down the ring? There's like the alleyway. And so as they're walking down to the ring, I still remember like there was older, like well, I was a young kid. So you know what? Who knows how old they were, but every adult seems old to you. And they're like spitting and screaming at the wrestlers. I was like, what is going on? It was just crazy to me. I don't really remember much of the bout, my first one, but I remember like the crowd and just how intense people were. Like this was like they were into it, and it was crazy. I remember later on, yes, the Cuban assassin. I remember Duke Myers and his glove. And I was like, how do they not know what is going on? And it would just irritate you. I remember that as a teenager. Like, come on, man. But Duke was great. Duke Myers and Kerry Brown. Oh, it was a classic. Hey, guys, when I was in college, I had some friends who worked for Canada Post. They took old uniforms and made it look just like the Big Boss Man. It was Big Boss Man against Hogan at Skyreach. My buddies wore their costumes and walked down one side of the floor across and back up the other side, being heels like Boss Man. I remember this kid's grandma trying to trip one of them as they were walking down the aisle to the floor. It was awesome. From Not Fred. Oh, love it. Hey guys, I went to a local show in Edmonton when fans got to bring in weapons. I brought a frozen fish. What? Now I'm assuming when you say weapons, yeah, okay, a frozen fish, but I'm guessing you weren't packing heat or like a machete. That probably wasn't allowed. I'm gonna get now. Who knows? A different time, right? Like it's only been last few years that there's a metal detector. There's never a metal detector Rexall, and that was up until 2016. So. Yeah, who knows? Hey, guys, when I was going to Mount Royal in Calgary, I lived in the same building as Beef Wellington and Chris Benoit. We also had a psychology class. We had to go to WWF event. I was standing waiting to go back to my seat. I looked to my right, and there's a short 5'7" muscular guy. He goes, how you doing? It was Dino Bravo. Pretty cool from the rig. Dino Bravo. Oh, that is a class. That guy was built like a tank. And didn't he always have the blue outfit, if I'm not mistaken? I thought he always liked to wear the bright blue. Hey, guys, I remember being at Stampede Wrestling at the Leduc's Elks Club, Roley View Road. Only wrestler I clearly remember there was Jason the Terrible. I was that. Well, maybe not that show, but I went to the Elks Hall, man. It's a classic. It's right by Apache Crescent in Leduc. We used to ride our bikes there all the time. Used to play ball. We actually used to play paintball in that big field behind Elks. And yes, I remember going to a show there. Jason the Terrible, he was fairly big for a while in the 80s, and it was exactly like, if anybody's like, what was Jason the Terrible? Well, it was like Jason from Friday the 13th. He had the white mask and everything. That was his character. Oh, I forgot about him. That's a classic. Hey, guys, Stampede Wrestling was the perfect part of Saturday when I was a kid. You go to the rink for 2 or 3 hours, but make sure you're home by 3 to watch Ed and Stampede Wrestling and Hockey Night in Canada. It was beautiful from B. That's a good memory, man. It was Saturday afternoon. Stampede Wrestling was before your time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think I really got a chance to take in too much of the Stampede Wrestling. I got into WWF at the time during the Attitude Era, and I don't think my parents were too happy about me watching it. Like there was, the Buried Alive matches and things of that sort, the whole WCW war. So I didn't see too much of Stampede Wrestling, unfortunately. All these names you're dropping, I wish I did. Beef Wellington, thick name.
Buddy, the Cuban Assassin, Mucka Singh, the Toilet Bowl, Gama Singh. Oh, man. That's some classic names.
The Toilet Bowl was a wrestler?
Well, Mucka Singh, yeah, for a while. Then he became the Toilet Bowl. Like that was kind of one of his handles for a short time. Oh, it was beauty. Absolutely beauty. So, hey, guys, Dino Bravo was murdered by the Montreal Italian Mafia. From GM. Yeah, I remember reading a story about it. Yeah, because the Mafia was fairly big in Montreal. Probably still is. Can't say for sure if it is or isn't. But hey, guys, how about Cowboy Bob Orton having a cast on his arm for 1.5 years? Oh, classic. The old fake cast. I love it. Guys, the one wrestler I remember, well, it wasn't the wrestler, but Mr. Hito. Oh, well, yeah, like the cornerman cons. Obviously, you must have had a famous cornerman.
We're talking like managers?
Yeah, like Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, Paul Bearer for The Undertaker,
Oh, is that
of course.
yours? Okay.
Well, I liked Sable with, who's that guy? I don't even remember his name, but I remember Sable.
Well, didn't she become a wrestler herself?
She did, yeah. She started off as the corner
Elizabeth?
person. Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot. Terry Reynolds with Gold Dust.
Oh, yeah.
Sonny.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I was about the same age as you at the old Edmonton Argo, and my mom, to my dismay, I love it that he says it's his mom, because trust me, this is true. I don't discount this for a second. Ladies were just as passionate about wrestling. Don't kid yourself. My mom snuck 2 raw eggs in and threw them at Abdullah the Butcher from Antoine. Now, think about that. If your mom takes you to a wrestling event and throws a raw egg, like she's just setting you up to say, you know what? You got carte blanche here at wrestling events in the future, kid. Maybe you're young and maybe you're a little shy about it, but hey, that's if looking back on it now, you're like, geez, my mom was kind of cool for a moment there. Like she was right into wrestling. My mom was not into wrestling. Now her dad, my grandfather, he was. Mom, not so much. But she had a good arm, though. She probably could have thrown her an egg. I don't know if she would have hit him or not, but yeah, I would die laughing, trying to picture my mother at a wrestling event throwing eggs at the wrestlers. Oh, classic. Connor, you're bang on. Paul Bearer was the GOAT from Lance. Hey, guys, Stampede Wrestling did a show and kill him. Davey Boy Smith ripped a payphone off the wall. Epic from Darren. Well, that was the great part about like Stampede Wrestling went to the small places, right? Like nowadays, like WWE doesn't have any small venues, right? They're not going into. They're not doing I don't even know if they do Red Deer. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong, but like they're definitely not going to kill them, right? So I think those local shows are fantastic. You need them. But Stampede Wrestling was big. Like, it was big, man. Oh. Hey, guys, I got in a screaming match with J.R. Foley's son. It was hilarious and fun. Ed Whalen's a legend. In the meantime and in between time, it's another edition of Stampede Wrestling. Oh. I remember when I found out that Ed Whalen was doing Calgary Flames games. Because I just thought Ed was just like, he was part of wrestling. And I was like, what? I was much older. But like Ed was so great at getting you fired up about matches. Like he would get right into it, right? Like when he was calling it and he was great at making all of the bad guys look even worse. He was so and he'd do his interviews and he'd be like he was right into it and pissed off. It was great. He was excellent at it, honestly. Oh man. I loved it. So 402. When we got AJ Gass joining us after at around 4:20, the Golden Bears football team, they started up 4-0. Actually, he's coming up next now. So they started out 1-0 with a big 42-28 win in UBC last weekend. They have their home opener tonight, 7:00. But guess what? The doors open. Tailgating starts at 5. If you're looking for a Friday night fun, the Bears are good. Real good. We'll talk to their defensive coordinator after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. And they've teamed up with Sports Central every Saturday. So tomorrow in the month of September from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m., they're looking for bike donations. So if you got an old bike and it's, doesn't work, no problem. Drop it off, donate. They got mechanics. They'll tune it up. They'll fix it. And then it goes to the kids. So you can drop it off. Go to sportscentral.org and find a location near you every Saturday this month from 10 until 3.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 1 in the NFL continues tonight with the Eagles and Packers meeting in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Kickoff set for 6:15. Russell Wilson listed as questionable for the Steelers as they kick off their season in Atlanta. Justin Fields at quarterback earlier today, in the Bills signing right tackle Spencer Brown to a new 4-year contract extension, keeping with the team through the 2028 season. In the CFL, the Elks in action on Saturday. the last game of the week. Kickoff 5 o'clock down at Commonwealth Stadium. Before that, you got Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Toronto, Ottawa, and tonight it's BC and Montreal taking on the 10-1 Alouettes. Major League Baseball, the Jays will take on the Braves tonight. That one gets going at 5:20. They'll also play tomorrow and Sunday. Both those games can be heard right here on Sports 1440. Sebastian Masabi in the pool today, winning gold for Canada in the 50-meter freestyle, while Canadian wheelchair racer Cody Fournier has won his second gold medal of the Paralympic game today in the T51 100-meter. Canada right now 8 gold, 7 silver, 8 bronze for 23. That's 13th position. And at the university level, the Golden Bears in action tonight, taking on the U of C Dinos down at Foot Field. Kickoff gets going at 7 o'clock. Coming up next year on the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by the defensive coordinator of those Golden Bears, former Elks linebacker as well, AJ Gass, plus another edition of 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
Teach Calgary their ABCs at the Labor Day rematch. Your Edmonton Elks face the Calgary Stampeders on Saturday, September 7th at 5 p.m. It's Family Day, presented by Save On Foods. Kids get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket, plus an expanded pregame kids zone. Tickets and more at GoElks.com.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
At Fountain Tire, we love jingles. Get up to 25% off select tires.
Until October 19th.
Plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150.
Restrictions apply.
Book online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
And the heroes hiding in plain sight. GS Construction. But who are these supermen and women in hard hats? They're the ones with the power to offer services such as infrastructure rehabilitation, water and drainage solutions, land development, general contracting, and more. And when they're finished doing what they do best, everything is covered and invisible to everyone's eye. So don't look for them in the sky. They're out on the roads and in your neighborhoods. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
Rule number 62. Never miss a free pancake breakfast. It's unheard of and frankly a little upsetting. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instants, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days. Because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by PlayAlberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
So $65 million up for grabs tonight. And Lotto Max, get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. It's a busy Friday. Of course, we were talking favorite wrestling memories. We got a lot of text flying in 833-401-1440. We're going to retouch on that in the final hour with Spec and LT and even in this hour because we've got some beauties. But let's talk a little football. The U of A Golden Bears kicked off their season on the road in UBC last week with a 42-28 victory. A really good second half got them the victory. And tonight, their home opener as they look to go 2-0. And we are joined by former Edmonton Eskimo. Now, of course, he is the defensive coordinator for the U of A Golden Bears. AJ Gass joins us. Age, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Gregor. How you doing?
Hey, I'm excellent. Before we get to football, were you into wrestling as a young kid or a teenager? Did you ever go to a live wrestling show?
I took my son to a live wrestling show when he was probably about 7 or 8.
Okay.
Which is when we were down in Bakersfield. I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. But yeah, it was fun to take him to a match and see how he reacted. I unfortunately never got to go in person, but I was definitely looking at the TV trying to find any wrestling matches I could growing up.
Awesome. Did you have a favorite wrestler?
I had a few. I was really big into Junkyard Dog, JYD.
Oh, yeah.
And then I like Jimmy Superfly Snuka as well.
Ooh.
And then the dark horse was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, classic. Oh, I love it. Now, Age, for your team, the first games of the season, I think, especially when you don't have a ton of preseason, it's difficult. And, let's get a quick little analysis for you on your defensive effort in week 1. What'd you like about it?
Well, I like the fact that, we had a little adversity. We gave up a couple explosive plays early, kind of gave them some momentum, but we never flinched. We just kept focused on, assignment football. And then when it came down to it, we kind of turned up the heat and kind of put them to bed. But I was really, really proud of the guys for not hanging their heads early after giving up a few big plays.
So you look at it as a former, linebacker, you understand the defense. How long does it take, do you find, for a defense to really get comfortable?
It depends on the experience of the guys coming back. We're fortunate. We lost a couple dudes off of our team last year, but the guys that came in to step in to fill those roles had been with us and understood, what we were about. So had we lost more and had less experience, it would definitely take a few games to kind of gel and get to know one another and how each other plays. Again, we were fortunate to have a big group coming back, so kind of avoided some of that.
Okay, and then you look at how that game went in UBC. You talked about the adversity on the defensive side of the ball, but conversely, your offense really got going in the second half, and then probably I think helps the defense because then you're not on the field as much. And do you notice that when you're the coordinator that all of a sudden, like the better offense just kind of bleeds over into the defense because your guys are fresher and you play better?
Oh, absolutely. As a defensive coordinator, I love to stand on the sideline with my guys. The more time on the sideline, the better. And I think in that game, we actually had 11 more minutes of ball control than they did. So that's almost a full quarter. So, it definitely helps the defense for sure, and special teams as well.
I always like to ask the defense, because you go up against the offense in practice, what do you feel is the best strength of the Bears offense?
Running the football. I mean, they are so physical up front, not only with the offensive line, but with our fullbacks. The way our running backs run the ball is physical. It's just a very impressive thing to see, just smash mouth football.
Well, yeah, 39 rushing attempts, man. That's you're pounding the rock, no question about it. But when you passed it, 17 to 22, averaged over 11 yards per reception, which is pretty good. You've coached at the pro level age, and it's a little bit different, right? Like you got young guys that are hungry. They want to get to the pros. They want to get drafted. How is it approach different for you as a coach at the youth sport level compared to the CFL?
Well, I think at this level, there's a lot more teaching. The amount of football experience these guys have compared to what the guys have in the CFL is just a vast difference. So kind of getting them to understand not just assignments and schemes, but, football knowledge in general is something that we really try to teach a lot of, game situations, what to expect, and then how each scenario is going to affect the offensive and defensive play call. So a lot more teaching about how to play the game of football, not just schemes, is what you do up in the CFL.
Are you expecting Chase Tatterin to be your leading playmaker on defense this year?
He's definitely started out that way. He had a great year last year, came into camp. He's fit. He's ready. He's making incredible plays all over the field. So, I'm hoping we have 5 or 6 guys pushing him, because if we do, then we're in great shape. But he's definitely one of the guys who produces most for our team right now.
AJ Gass joins us, defensive coordinator for the U of A Golden Bears. They have their home opener tonight, 7:00, after opening the season with a 42-28 victory in UBC last weekend. And, AJ, the importance of the Canadian player in the CFL can't be overlooked. You got 2 starting quarterbacks now this year in the CFL, which is fantastic. And we're seeing, more star players at different positions all over the place. And a lot of it comes down to there's better coaching the last few decades at youth sports than there's been ever before. And, I think you're a testament to that, a guy who's coached pro, and that you're there and you talk about that there's more teaching. Is it in a way more enjoyable as a football coach, because you can really see, big improvements in some of your players over the course of a few years?
Yeah, that's one of the best things about coaching, is to be able to see the growth from day one till they walk out of here as a graduated player. Schemes are one thing, but when you see a guy understand and expect certain things in certain situations, and you really know he's got a grasp of what you're teaching him, it's very, very fulfilling as a coach to see that.
Yeah. When you talk about coaching from a pure, and I guess we can focus on all the different positions, but is it getting off the ball? Is it just the little tricks? What are some of the intricacies that you're really working on at this level with the youth sport player?
Well, a big thing is reads, understanding what they're seeing. One of the best questions you can ask your guys when they come off the field is, what did you see? Because then you understand where their mindset was and why they reacted in a specific way. You can't, get after a guy running off the field and get into him without understanding what he was seeing, why he made that decision, and whatnot. So, it's awesome to see that when they can start answering what they saw, how they read, the reason they took the step, the reason they went back door, whatever it may be. Then you can start coaching up, okay, let's try this, let's try that. But if you don't know what they're seeing and why they did what they did, you're just kind of yelling and correcting without understanding. And I think it goes both ways.
AJ Gass joins. Age, what can you tell me about the Calgary offense? What are you expecting to see tonight?
Well, based off their game last week, they threw the ball 45 times. I think they had a hard time getting their run game going. So I'd anticipate them starting out trying to establish a ground game. But it really seems like they want to lean on the quarterback's arm. It was a very windy game last week in Calgary, so his numbers really didn't reflect the accuracy that he probably will have in less wind. So we're anticipating them trying to sling the ball around the field, and we're going to play our style of defense. We're going to swarm the ball carrier, we're going to punish him, and we're going to overwhelm the offensive line and let the chips fall where they may.
When you're going up against a team that's more focused on the pass, is like you just said, well, let's just blitz more, right? But I don't know if it's that easy, right? Or is it that simple? When you think a team's dropping back, you're just like, okay, we're going to blitz more.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the idea, but it's also got to be a calculated risk. Anytime you're adding one to a rush, you're removing one from coverage. And when you have a team that likes to throw the ball around, you're vulnerable in the back end. So we have a saying here where pressure is coverage. So if we're going to bring pressure, you got to help out the coverage by getting home. And for the most part, we have done that.
AJ, I appreciate it. Continued success. Enjoy the home opener tonight. Should be a good crowd. And hopefully when we chat next, you guys are still undefeated. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jason. Talk soon.
You betcha. That's AJ Gass, D court. That's fantastic. Man. Like you got Chris Morris, AJ Gass. You had Rick Walters there for a long time. It's going to help your program. It's going to help your players overall. There's better coaching across the board, and not only at the U Sport level. I think at the junior football ranks, and really, there's been some pretty good coaches at different times. When you go back and you look at, the Huskies when they were winning national titles, they had a really good coaching staff. The Wildcats when they were at the top, good coaching. Like to me, it's obviously you need good players, but when you've got just kind of like raw athletes who are good athletes, and then you get good coaching with them, you can really see the improvement over a course of a few seasons. And the Bears now are ranked number 7 in the country. They got a good defense. They love to run the ball. And they got a quarterback when need to. He can throw the ball. Should be good. So check it out if you're looking for some action on a Friday night. Get down to Foot Field. Watch the game. The Bears and the Dinos. So it's a double Battle of Alberta. Bears, Dinos tonight. Elks, Stamps tomorrow. 7 o'clock tonight for the Bears, 5 o'clock tomorrow for the Green and Gold. Quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Edmonton Oilers. And there's some rumblings there, some that pique my interest, others that make no sense. We'll discuss both on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The only thing as hot as the weather this summer is a night out at On the Rocks. Every weekend, enjoy live music and top DJs spinning your favorite tracks. The dance floor is the place to be. Celebrating a birthday or stagette? Let OTR take the work out of the planning for you. Book your party online at ontherocksedmonton.com. Join OTR every evening from 4 p.m. for a great atmosphere and good company. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Grab your Good Vibe Drive and head to On the Rocks, corner of Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedor from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
It seems the price of everything is redonkulous. So at Wolf GMC Buick, we're trying to make it easy on your wallet. We have a huge selection of GMCs with finance rates starting at 0%. Wait, did I just say 0%? I did. And why am I talking to myself? Oh boy. The prices are fantastic, selection top-notch, and the vehicles, well, you already know that they're stellar. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now, just off the Anthony Henday. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Stingray All Good Vibes offers you 5 services for the price of 1 on Prime Video channels. Stream hundreds of concerts, sing karaoke hits, and relax with nature scenes. Access concerts and karaoke songs from all your favorite artists on Stingray All Good Vibes. Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for your free trial. Prime subscription required.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving. And when it comes to value, nothing beats an employee price. For a limited time, pay what Ford employees paid during the factory-authorized employee pricing event. You'll see real invoice pricing, and you know you'll get the best deal guaranteed. It's Ford employee pricing on for a limited time where cars always cost less. Denham Ford in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Positive Friday. How are you? Welcome back to the show. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. And the Bears are actually ranked 5th now. They were 7th last week, but with the win, they've moved up to 5th in the rankings. So when I downloaded the screen, I look, and it comes up as 7, but that was August 26th, and now they have a new September ranking for the 5th that says they're up to 5. So good for them. They have there's Montreal, Western, Laval, and Laurier. So they're the top ranked team in the West. It's early, but still, it's a good sign. Great. So hopefully get a win tonight. That could be a sweep for Edmonton over Calgary tonight and tomorrow in football, which would be good. Nice. Let's we got a few other quick, man. We got so many wrestling texts in here, Cons. I love it. It's fantastic. What's your quick thoughts on the Elks before we get to the old report? Just your thought on the Elks and tomorrow's game.
I mean, confidence has to be at an all-time high. Just the way they were playing last week. Whenever the Stampeders answered with the big play, it seemed like they were able to go back out there and match it and match the intensity. They didn't back down. Offensively, you got to have that belief in McLeod Bethel-Thompson that he can throw the ball around and do it effectively. The run game, we've talked about it. The offensive line the first 7 weeks was an issue, and now it's become a strength of the team, which is crazy. They found that cohesiveness. So I think for the Edmonton Elks, they know exactly what they have to do. I don't know what you can expect from the Stampeders out of a rookie quarterback. There's not going to be too much game film. I guess you can go back and look at him at college, where he did have some good statistics. But all in all, I think the Edmonton Elks got to be feeling pretty good about this one, knowing exactly what they do have to do to get the job done.
Well, it helps when you're not throwing 38 times a game for your offensive line.
Absolutely.
A little bit of a balanced attack. Shocking.
Try to take an early lead and run the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what? They were running the ball when they didn't have an early lead with Trey Ford, who it's funny. And Trey Ford has still had great passing numbers, but they were running the ball. And that really kind of turned their whole season around. It's like, okay, let's emphasize more on throwing the ball and having more of a balanced attack, which I was kind of like, why you wouldn't have done that to start the year, I don't really know. Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, where you can save $4,000 on a new Volvo XC60, the 2024 version, and get financing for 1.49% for 6 years. Woo, pretty sweet deal. Stop in, shop now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. So the Edmonton Oilers, you have the rookies get going next week. They'll be heading out to Penticton. The players, the main core group, by Monday, you will see Connor McDavid in their unofficial skates. Right? They're not the captain skates, but McDavid, he'll be here next week. Dreisaitl's already here. Every day, more guys are coming in. It might not be a full slate on Monday, but you're going to have more and more players coming to town for the Oilers as they get set to open up training camp less than 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks this Sunday is their first preseason game when they take on host the Winnipeg Jets. And then on Monday, the 23rd, they have a doubleheader against Calgary. Well, not yet. It's not really. I guess it's a doubleheader. It's just in different cities. One's at Edmonton and one's in Calgary. They've done that for years. It's fantastic. Gets rid of 2 preseason games in one night. Sign me up. My biggest reason why I want the NHL to go to 84 games is because that means they might only have 4 or 5 preseason games. Thank you. Thank you very much. Look at the Oilers team this year. If we went through position battles, goaltenders, none. Top 6, none. Third line, I don't think so. So you've got Podkolzin, fourth line left wing. Derek Ryan at center. I think there's some battles there. I think Lane Peterson is going to push. Noah Philp had a year off, but I wouldn't count him out. Then you have Corey Perry as your fourth line right winger and Raphael Lavoie. So there's a battle for the fourth line and the extra forward position. Then Nurse, Kulak, Ekholm, left D, secured. Right D, Bouchard, locked in. Then there's Stetcher, Brown, Emberson. They're going to battle for the second and third right spot. And then, of course, the other guy likely in the press box. You know, Phil Kemp is here. I think he's going to have a hard time cracking the team. A PTO on defense, I think is a very good possibility. Not a lock, but I think a good possibility. I personally, now I went and looked up Kevin Shattenkirk's numbers. So Kevin Shattenkirk actually 5-on-5 in Boston last year. Not terrible numbers, you know, on a good team. Is 5-on-5, you know, he was even goals for against, which at the end of the day, to me, in a full year, in a small sample size, maybe not as much, but in a full season, that's a fairly important statistic for me. You want guys who they find a way when they're on the ice, they're not getting outscored, especially if you're like a third pairing defender. It's key. Now, Shattenkirk, when I look at the Oilers' makeup of their team, he's not a power play guy, right? We all know that, and that's fine. But is he going to be killing penalties, right? Like last year in Boston, he played 61 games. Now in the playoffs, he played half of the 13. I think he played 6, right? I'm looking at his, like, how much penalty kill time did he have last year, Shattenkirk? How about virtually none, the fewest of anybody on their team. They had 10 defensemen who played games, and he played 61 games, and he still had fewer penalty kill minutes than Ian Mitchell and Mason Lowry and Adam Peake and everybody else. So he's not a penalty killer. So if he's not a penalty killer, how's he help your team? He's not a power play guy, right? Like, do you want to have one of your 6 defensemen who doesn't kill penalties or on the power play? How's it help you? So that's why the Shattenkirk one, I don't see a fit, if I'm being honest. Right? Troy Stetcher, I've said it. I outlined all the numbers with Troy Stetcher. In his career, 5,000 minutes, pretty good sample size, courtesy of puckiq.com, of minutes against elite forwards or middle tier forwards, second and third line guys. Which is, if he's going to play top 4 minutes, he'll have some of that. He had a 54% dangerous Fenwick, which means, you know, he's out shooting, out chancing the opposition that are better players. And keep in mind, he was on teams in Arizona, Detroit, Calgary, that were, and when he was in Calgary, like, they weren't really good teams. You got to go back to his early years in Vancouver. They were probably the most consistently competitive team he was on. And then his goals for, goals against, over 5,000 minutes, pretty significant number. He was 176 goals for, 178 goals against. -2, 5-on-5. On not very good teams. I'll take that. As I've said, can he get me through to the trade deadline as a second pair guy? I think he can. Will there be some situations where you're not loving it? Sure. Yeah, I think he can. Now, he's probably not suited to be a penalty killer, so that's a concern. But then you've got Emberson and you got Brown, and those guys are going to kill penalties. Now, Stetcher can kill penalties. He's done it, right? So he could do it if need be, right? And I do think that's a factor, right? It's a factor for your team. You just have to look at, you know, the minutes played and, you know, what's he going to do on the PK in his career? He hasn't done it a ton, to be honest, right? Early in his career, though, well, actually, 2023 had 170 minutes on the penalty kill. Not bad. So he's been over 100 minutes on the PK in a season 4 times in his career, and 2 of them the last 2 seasons in Arizona. So he can kill penalties. Now, he wouldn't be in my first unit, but he could be on your second unit. Maybe he's your 5th guy. However you do it, I don't care. But at least he's done it. Kevin Shattenkirk really hasn't done it lately. So he had a grand total of 7 minutes on the PK. And Evan Bouchard, could he do it at times? Yes. Do I want him to do it a ton? No. because he's already playing a lot 5-on-5, and he's obviously your number one power play guy. So, Emberson and Brown, Stetcher, they make sense. Like Justin Schultz, is he a guy who, I know his name's out there. Frank said that the Oilers offered him one. He doesn't want to take it. I'm not sure why. I get why you do it on a PTO, I guess. It's just, hey, let's see. Maybe it protects us if there's an injury or something. I get it. But, I don't know. Is Justin Schultz that much better than Troy Stetcher at this point? That's the question they're going to have to ask themselves, right? Because he's a different player than Brown. Brown brings you a total different element, right? Brown's going to be, I think Brown's the guy they look at replacing Vinny Desharnais. Big body, who's physical. Coach knows him. Connor McDavid, they played all against, so they know what he's about, right? And he's an NHL defenseman. Now, he doesn't have stellar numbers by any stretch of imaginations. He's also played on some fairly bad teams, right? Now, Justin Schultz is another guy, though, who, guess what? Didn't kill a lot of penalties. He had a grand total of 11 minutes in Seattle last year. Right? Like, they had top 4 guys who killed a lot of penalties, and then it was Vince Dunn was 13 minutes in 36 games, and Schultz was 11 minutes in 59 games. So not a penalty killer. So that's why I don't see it making a ton of sense. Mark Giordano, he can play the right side. He's a left guy. He's a veteran. He's played the right side a lot. Kills penalties. Actually had pretty good numbers in Toronto last year. As Rich Winter said, his biggest challenge as his agent is getting people to look past the age and say, just base him on what he's done. He won the Norris at 37. It's pretty good. So if it's me, if you had to say, okay, you get one PTO, I would take Mark Giordano all day over Justin Schultz. And I would take Mark Giordano over Travis Dermott. Right? Giordano knows exactly who he is at this stage of his career. Right? I can tell you, my nephew played in Toronto last year. He raved about Mark Giordano, the human. And you know what? There was like 39 years of age. There's a few times he's jumping in on guys in tilts to stand up for his teammates. Right? Really smart player. Was a really good influence in the room. So that'd be one where I would look at. Travis Dermott's another name. Hey guys, Low Tide keeps talking about Lindstrom. What do you think? Now, I'm assuming he means the defenseman from Anaheim, Gustav Lindstrom. Right now, he's been up and down the NHL, kind of he was in Detroit for a bit. He's been in that, hasn't been on any real good teams. Was in like every team he's played on has been terrible. Detroit, Montreal, and Anaheim. Now, at times, it can be harder to look good on bad teams, right? That's just a fact. So I'll be honest, I haven't really looked up his numbers, but I'll do it right now, kind of on the fly. I'll try to find some on him to see, what's he look like as an option. Now in 32 games, 11 minutes on the PK. So, they had lots of other guys, Fowler, Gudas, Labushkin, Vakanainen. Those guys were all PK. Even the rookie Mintkov was 61 minutes. So, that probably doesn't bode well. Right? Now I got to look at his career. Did he kill penalties anywhere? Let me look. 1 year in Detroit, he was at 79 minutes, which meant he was probably like, the fifth guy. But that's it. So not a ton. In the last year combined was between Montreal 4 minutes, Anaheim 11, so a grand total of 15. I don't know. He has a right shot, but he would probably be there as somebody who you're signing on a PTO, and if you sign him, he's going to the minors, right? So you're like, okay, clear waivers and away you go. I'm not sure I would see him necessarily, beating out any of the guys they have. Hey, Greg's, what about John Klingberg? Well, Klingberg's got a real kind of they don't know about his health, right? Last year, unfortunately, in Toronto, didn't pan out. Had to have surgery again. So I don't know. I haven't read anywhere that states that he's going to be good to go for this year. So I'd be surprised. Now, I'll be honest. I haven't dug into to looking up John Klingberg. I kind of just assumed after last year that, I'm not sure he's an option. Like it's a shoulder. Gregor, did you list Stetcher's PK minutes? Yeah. The last 2 seasons, he was over 100 minutes in Arizona. So he was like, in their second pair on the last 2 years in Arizona. So he's killed penalties. He's done it. You know what? Could they move? If you have one of Emberson or Brown do it, then you have Nurse, Ekholm, Kulak, and Emberson. Kulak can play the right side of the penalty kill if you have to. And then Stetcher can be number 5. Or Bouchard. Like, I know Bouchard can do it. I just don't know how much I need him to do. He doesn't need to play that much. I'd like him to rest. If it's me, that's how I see it. It's just like Podkolzin. I'm curious in preseason how much PK time Podkolzin gets, because you got to give him some if you want to try to keep him in the mix offensively for your team. Because even if we reduce the minutes of the first unit power play a little bit, which I think is possible, it's still not going to be a significant amount. And if you're not a regular in any one of the special teams, it's hard to get into a flow, right? And Corey Perry was on there last year. So, and now you got Henrique, you've got Skinner, you got Arvidsson. Like, I don't think there's room for everybody. So the room for Podkolzin probably has to come on the PK, right? Maybe he's in your third unit potentially. If you have Brown and Janmark and Nugent Hopkins, Derek Ryan, if he's here, right? See, the only issue about Lane Peterson is I'm not sure that Lane Peterson is necessarily like a 4th line center type. I'm not sure he fits that bill. But he skates better than Derek Ryan. He's got good skills, smart. But, Derek Ryan has been a bottom 6 winger basically his entire career in the NHL, and he's been good at it. So that's why, like, Noah Philp, probably better suited for that role. But more NHL ready overall might be Lane Peterson. We'll see that. And like, to me, those are really the only discussions at camp. Kind of like your 4th line. Who fits in where? And of course, your 2nd, 3rd, and number 7 defenseman on the right side. Does anybody see any other battles? Gregor, what about Matt Savoy? Well, if Matt Savoy's here, I guess they're saying they want to play him at center. Well, if they're playing him at center, there's no room for him here. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Henrique ain't happening to start the year. So if they wanted to play at center in the minors to start, which I don't have a problem with, right? Because if you can become a better defensive player as a center iceman, and then you come to the NHL and you got to move to the wing, easy peasy, man. Andrew Cogliano talked about it. So many others have talked about it. Like, that's a much easier transition to make. So I don't mind that he's going to play center, and they want him to work on his defensive game and his offensive game in the minors. It's great. And then, of course, Henrique can PK, right? He was on the PK last year. So, Podkolzin could be, and remember, they did kind of rotate 3 units at times, at least in the regular season. I think it's smart. Podkolzin could be in one of those. We'll find out. So that's kind of the battles I see as we head into less than 2 weeks away from training camp. That's when we'll find out. They have their first preseason game coming up on the 22nd of this month. We'll come back. We have 5 questions. Lots more text, 833-401-1440 in our Ewell inbox on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Move Water is your one-stop shop for all things water. From fresh water to wastewater, we've got the pumps and solutions to keep your water moving where it matters most.
Move Water, your water solution experts.
Visit movewater.ca today.
So you've decided you want to start hiking. Nobody would say, I'll just wear my kids' flip-flops until I have more experience. The first thing you do is buy the right shoe size and style to fit you. Same with golf. You can't just buy clubs off the rack. They won't be the right size or style for you. Only Fitted Golf works with you to identify your swing style and then matches your clubs exactly to that swing. Check out our Instagram and YouTube channel to see the success others have with clubs fit to their swing. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its third season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest-growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
The Brick's famous tent sale continues with up to 60% off clearance items in the tent and store and up to $1,600 off exclusive tent sale specials. Plus, find incredible deals in every department, like up to 50% off mattresses, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 30% off sofas. Come on by while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Ain't it beautiful? What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Volvo of Edmonton.
Stingray All Good Vibes offers you 5 services for the price of 1 on Prime Video channels. Stream hundreds of concerts, sing karaoke hits, and relax with nature scenes. Access concerts and karaoke songs from all your favorite artists on Stingray All Good Vibes. Go to primevideo.com/Stingray for your free trial. Prime subscription required.
Booster Juice has a secret. It's a secret menu of secret smoothies you can only see on the Booster Rewards app. Oh, wait. Guess it's not a secret anymore. Visit any Booster Juice and ask for the Ocean's Tide, the Berry Bloom, the Raspberry Rapture, the Strawberry Dip, or the Go Mango. Made with mangoes, pineapple, and yogurt. The secret's out. Tell anyone you want. Find the exclusive secret smoothie menu on the Booster Rewards app and sneak into a Booster Juice near you.
Pause Friday continues on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440. Hey, Greg, so what about Buffalo? They seem to have too many D-men. Is Yoki Haru an option from Serpico? Well, what does he make? 3.1 mil. He's in the final year of his deal. They like their defense. Obviously, you got the top-end guys in Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power and Samuelson and Bowen Byram. That's their top 4. And then they got Clifton and Yoki Haru. Now, that's an expensive third pair because that's 6 mil combined, right? So I understand. But I think Buffalo, they want to make the playoffs. And I think they say, you know what? They're even with all that money in their third pair, they got boatloads of cap space. right? Because they don't have their highest paid forwards. They got 2 guys over $5 million, Cousins and Thompson. So, no, I think Buffalo would be foolish to move him out. Have depth, have good D, because that's where they've been getting killed as a team, is they give up too many goals. Although last year they couldn't score, that hurt them a bit. But I think they went out. Tuck, they hope, is healthy all year long. They brought in Lafferty and McLeod to help out their third line. Beck Mallenstein's going to help out their penalty kill. So I think they like their bottom 6 a lot better than their bottom 6 was last year. I think they'll start the season with their defense and say, we got to get in the playoffs. And plus, Edmonton right now couldn't afford a $3.1 million defenseman because they just traded away a guy at 3.25 because they don't want to have to start with Kane going to be on the IR to start the season. They don't want to start an LTIR. So now at the trade deadline, very different. That could be an option depending on where they are at. Now, Yoki Haru, would he be the guy you would look at for a run? He is a right shot, but yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if he fits the bill of like a defensive stalwart for Edmonton. Not sure. I would lean to no, but you never know. Let's get to Connor Halley, Sports 1440. 5 questions first, not an update. 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where the tent sale is on, and you can get up to 60% off special items all this weekend. Stop in at the tent. You won't be disappointed at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, you mentioned the name a little bit there. Kevin Shattenkirk looking to play a 15th NHL season. Is there a team that comes to mind, and what kind of role would you expect him to play in with said team?
Go ahead, buddy.
I know. You know what? I've seen the interest, the reports from Friedman saying right here in town, and I love the madness. I think it'd be a good storyline to follow along with. So I will say the Edmonton Oilers, potentially maybe second pairing guy. Throw it in there. Kevin Shattenkirk to the Oil for a 15th NHL season.
Oh, jeez.
CJ EDM said the Oilers don't need to get older.
Yeah.
Hey, he's younger than me, so
I don't see Shattenkirk. I just don't, I'm not sold it makes a bunch of sense for Edmonton when I look at everything. Now, for a PTO maybe, but when I look at a contract, now if something happens to one of the other 3 in training camp, that's different. So I can see why they're not going to want to commit yet. They want to get him. Where do I expect him to land? He's 35, man. Like, I don't know. I'll go Chicago.
Yeah, might be a good spot for him too. Question number 2 for you right now. Play Alberta has the Elks as 3.5-point favorites on Saturday. Ahead of the Stampeders, the over-under set at 51. Where would you be placing your money?
They're taking on a rookie quarterback making his first start. The team's 0-5 on the road, and Elks with the points all day long. I think all day long, the highest scoring offense in the league. So I will take that now. 51. It is the CFL, but even if Edmonton puts up 30, is Calgary going to score 21? So you know me, I would go. The smart money for me would take Edmonton with the points, just because I think there's a much better. I'm way more confident in winning than I am taking the over, and you know me on unders.
Yeah, well, last week it was 55 points. First quarter, the Elks offense didn't do a whole lot, so I'm going to say the Elks offense maybe has it a little bit more figured out, and special teams can be an issue for the Elks as well. So points against, I'm talking that way, could happen. I'll take the over as well, and the Elks to cover. They're playing their best ball of the season, and their confidence aside, they just beat this team. I think they make it 2 straight, and will cover the spread while they're at it. Question number 3 for you. We saw the Chiefs and Ravens last night. We got the Eagles and Packers tonight. But what is one storyline you're following closely this NFL season?
Well, I did see a quick adaption by the left tackle for the Ravens last night, and then because they were calling it by the book. I know people are freaking. No, I shouldn't call it. Well, just you could hear Harbaugh move up, right? Like, because if you saw it last year, Cons, like it was almost a semicircle. I could see why they wanted to adjust that, right? It's like it was almost like the CFL, a yard off the ball, really, but for the tackle. And I get why. Of course, they want more space. Get more space for those guys. you're better, right? Big long levers. You're going to get your arms out on those guys. It's awesome. But I don't think that's a big storyline. I'm going to be following the AFC East. Are the Jets as real as everybody thinks? Buffalo, Miami, do all three make the playoffs? They beat each other up and maybe they don't. So I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, along the same lines there, the AFC North is going to be a really good division with the Bengals, Ravens, the Browns, and then even the Steelers. Very well coached. We'll see if Justin Fields has to step up and play in week 1 with Russ listed as questionable, but kind of a generic answer. But quarterbacks, because there's so many storylines. Some teams have such bad situations. There's young crop of rookies coming in this year. And just for one more extra, because I'll throw it in there, kickoffs. I want to see how the teams adapt to this kickoff rule and if we start to see some more big returns, because that's the whole point of it.
Yeah, there was only 2 returns last night?
Yeah, and nothing special.
Well, there's a 28 and a 29er yarder, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Because if you kick it through, it's up to the 30. So
yeah,
I want to see a big one. I'm sure we'll see one at least.
Well, you'll see a few, yeah.
We want to see some big
Get
time
Cordell
plays.
Patterson out there, buddy.
That's exactly it. There's the playmaker. Question number 4. Which game in the NFL this week has you the most interested?
Well, it's early on, so you know what? Let's go Chicago. I want to see how the number 1 pick. That's what I'll be watching. And then purely selfishly, I'm interested in the Denver-Seattle game, only because of fantasy.
Who do you have?
Walker and Sutton.
All right. Going with Sutton. Okay. I like that pick. For me, the Cowboys-Browns, I think, is going to be a fun one, but you give me that Sunday nighter. Sean McVay and the Rams heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. Stafford back in Detroit. I love watching the Lions play football. It starts the head coach, Dan Campbell. They're a lot of fun. So for me, give me the Rams, the Lions on Sunday night. It's going to be a blast. My final question for you, Gregor. Out by our house, we're hearing rumblings that there might be some construction going up and potentially a new strip mall, one of those little complexes, So if you were designing a strip mall, hypothetically, what are the first 3 things you're putting in it?
I love this question. Well, you're going to have a gas station convenience store. That's kind of a no-brainer. I would put in a donaire shop. Oodle Noodle does really well.
Mm-hmm.
I know people are gonna I see now. Is this me running it, or am I running it from the business side of things on who I would want? Because I get why you see those nail places and the hair salons and stuff, and obviously that's good, right? Like they're fairly busy, but I'm gonna go selfishly what I would want, and well, the other thing I would want lots of things so people in that community can walk to it, right? Have a nice little restaurant or a pub place where you can go to if you want to watch a game with your friends or you want to go for dinner. You don't always have to drive, right? Go off of European where you have communities where because if you walk, people will come, right? It's convenient. You don't have to drive everywhere. But I will, a good donaire shop, buddy. You kidding me? If I was living close, you walk in there fairly frequently.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have the gas station convenience store set up. That's one for me for sure. I will say selfishly, for me to get up and go to the barber, I feel like it's always a hassle. So you put one right in my community, that's going to be it for sure. Ride my bike, walk over, whatever I have to do. I'll actually go get it done. Let us getting a little long right now. I got to take care of it soon. And then finally, I got to go with a good pizza place. I don't know, maybe throw it out there. Papa John's, you're looking for a spot, Big Lake area. Maybe you want to get out there, but pizza, barbershop, convenience store, top 3 for me. Honorable mention, because it takes me back to my childhood, a video store where I can go rent movies. There's no use for it in 2024, but for the nostalgia purposes, it'd be great.
Yeah, why not?
Playbook Vic's is a candy store for Gregor.
Ooh, yeah.
Bulk barn?
No. Yeah, the old Gregor, 100%. God, I'd be their best customer. Oh, geez, you had a ball. I'd have to move. I'd probably have to move because just the temptation would just be too. Honey, I'm going for a walk.
Yeah.
Where are you walking? And to be buying a bag, right? Walking a whole, got to stuff my face to be like Homer Simpson. Dinosaurs. Oh, God. I have to say, though, Con, it's been a good 6-8 months. And I got over the urge. It took a while, but as I'm driving down St. Albert Trail and I see Bulk Barn, my steering wheel doesn't naturally turn towards it anymore. The magnetic power is done. I don't really miss it anymore. I did it took a while, but I think I've finally gotten over that hump. But like I could say, like for people who have a cigarette, which is probably even more addictive than dinosaurs because I didn't eat them every day. And like I had dinosaurs and I'd be like once every few weeks and I'd go get some. So, and I felt it was hard. I couldn't imagine people who have to give up smoking after they've done it for a long time, right? Or, drinking, something like that, like to give it up, like I would just think it would be way harder. No doubt in my mind. So I have a lot of respect for those who do it because for me, just to get rid of and I could like, if I went out somewhere and had a dinosaur, it's not going to kill me. Right. But it wasn't good. So I had to get rid of it. And I can't imagine anybody who's like, I don't know, maybe somebody vapes or something. And then they're like, I got to get rid of that. Like something that you do every day. Cause I never did it every day. So, and it was still hard. So I couldn't imagine how difficult it would be to give up something that you did multiple times every day. And then suddenly it's like, I'm out. Like I was doing it, once every few weeks. Sometimes I go a month and then I'd have it, right? Put it in my car, put it right in the console, right? As I'm driving, just stick my hand in there. Oh God, like I love it. Like I can still, it just sounds like a candy addict. You're just like, oh yeah, put my hand in the console, pull out, and you just got, you don't know what color you're getting. It's unbelievable. And I knew it so well. I could tell the difference between the green and the reds. It was amazing. But so I could just imagine why that when people tell me how, oh man, you take that first drag of the smoke, it's unbelievable. So I could
just to confirm, you could tell by taste, not touch, right?
Oh yeah, no, not by touch.
I was gonna say that.
No.
Extremely impressive.
No, just because I would just put it. I'm driving, right? So I could just put my hand there. I wasn't be looking, and then it would just take one, pop it in my mouth. So it's nice. But Playbook Vic, I like your style. At candy store. Whew. I could tell you, if I opened a candy store, I think I would know exactly what the customers want. Cons, you found some candy that now it's chocolate, so I can eat it.
Oh yeah,
dude.
I don't even want to tell people about those.
Yeah. You know, it's probably good. That's actually keep it to yourself.
They're
Because
so good.
If more people know about it, then they'll go and then they'll be sold out.
The place where I bought said things that were not in West Edmonton Mall ran out. I had to buy the last 2 bags, but they restocked, so I grabbed more.
Okay.
I shared them with the crew here. They are,
dude, I never had those before.
The perfect ratio.
Yeah, and it's small enough where I'm like, I can have one.
Yeah, one won't hurt you.
It's unbelievable. So when we come back, we do want to I want to revisit the 2 questions. So I asked you if you had a choice and you could sign a D-man to a PTO, Shattenkirk, Schultz, Giordano, Dermott, or D'Angelo. I guess for low tide we'll put in Lindstrom, but I'm not sure I see him. But who would you sign? And favorite wrestling moment. God, we got some unbelievable ones. The ones you saw live, some great texts on that. We'll get to all that and more after the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Imagine having a booster. I don't think there's a Booster Juice in a strip mall. They're too big. They're they need more room. But imagine if you had one around the corner store. Ooh, I think there's some across from high schools, if I'm not mistaken. And the strawberry. I love the strawberry ones, man. I'm really kind of getting big on mango too. But right now, they have the mystery smoothies. You don't know what you're going to get. It's like Forrest Gump, box of chocolates. Don't know what's inside of them, but they're really good. See the secret menu right now at Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Week 1 of the NFL season rolls on tonight from Sao Paulo, Brazil, as the Eagles take on the Packers. 6:15 kickoff in that one. Russell Wilson currently listed as questionable for the Steelers as they kick off their weekend in Atlanta. Justin Fields taking first-team reps at practice today at the Paralympics. Sebastian Masabi in the pool. 50-meter freestyle gold medal there, and Canadian wheelchair racer Cody Fournier won his 2nd gold of the Olympics today in the T50 100-meter. He also won the 200-meter on Tuesday. Right now, Canada sitting 13th place with 8 golds, 7 silvers, and 8 bronze. University of Alberta sports tonight. The Bears football team in action hosting the UFC Dinos down at Footfield. That gets going at 7 o'clock. The Pandas hockey team in action. They'll take on Mount Royal at the Drake at 7. Tomorrow at 7, the Golden Bears taking on Mount Royal as well. down at Clare Drake, and soccer at Flit Field for both of these games tomorrow. The Pandas in action at noon, taking on Regina. Then at 2:15, it's the Golden Bears up against the Dinos. In the CFL tonight, you got the BC Lions heading to Montreal, taking on the 10-1 Alouettes. Kickoff in about 26 minutes. Tomorrow, a triple header. Toronto, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and to cap it off down at Commonwealth, the Elks will host the Stampeders. That one at 5 o'clock. Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays in action, taking on the Braves. That gets going in about 15 minutes. One game underway right now. Brewers on top of the Rockies, 1-0 in the top of the fourth. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Teach Calgary their ABCs at the Labor Day rematch. Your Edmonton Elks face the Calgary Stampeders on Saturday, September 7th at 5 p.m. It's Family Day, presented by Save On Foods. Kids get in free with the purchase of an adult ticket, plus an expanded pregame kids zone. Tickets and more at GoElks.com.
Mr. Rooter goes on a water slide.
Welcome to the Sky Screamer. Please keep your arms crossed over your...
Oh, don't worry about old Mr. Rooter. I'm the last person you have to worry about clogging this pipe.
Actually, it's for your safety.
This plumbing-themed amusement park is amazing. To see the world from inside a giant pipe, it feels like Honey, I Shrunk the Mr. Rooter. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm ready to be flushed. For a plumbing good time, slide into the DMs of Mr. Rooter.
Rule number 41, never challenge a goose in the Bow Valley. They run this town and they know it. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they don't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Just after 5 o'clock, you did it. You made it. Another work week for most of you as you're riding home. Serenity now. Maybe roll the window down. Live it up a little brass bonanza. Lots going on. Hey, maybe you're going to the Bears game tonight. You got the Elks, of course, tomorrow night. You got NFL tonight. Funny enough, if you're doing that. Or maybe you're a big wrestling fan. Gonna head down to wrestling. Now, I think it was Jeff who texted in the belt cons, that Rhodes has, they're selling those belts. You could get that Oiler belt. Now it's 700 bones, but if you want to commit, you could do it.
I personally don't want to commit,
but you're not a big I'm not a
big belt guy. Despite what Strutty would have made you believe a couple years ago, saying I made my own leather belts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he got that shtick from. No, I think the wrestling belts are very cool, and this is very cool. I just got to be wiser with my money at this point in life. Can't be rolling in with an $800 belt.
Wow. Yeah, but that's a little bit different of a belt, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Everyone would acknowledge it looks awesome.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
And by the way, it's the triple header Battle of Alberta weekend because the Calgary Colts are taking on the Edmonton Wildcats Sunday at 1:00. So you got U Sport Friday, Bears Dinos, CFL Saturday, Elks Stamps, Prairie Junior Football Sunday, Wildcats hosting the Calgary Colts. The Huskies are on the road this weekend in Winnipeg to take on the Rifles. So, hey, if you're a football fan, good. I wonder how many of you are going to do the triple header because there's some diehard football fans out there. They'll go with all three. It's unreal. Perfect timing. Enjoy. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and it's 65 mil. The Eric Carlson lottery tonight. 65 mil. Lotto Max. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the Spec Report now, brought to you by GS Construction. And they just want to say, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the weather. Beautiful outside. And go slow through construction zones. GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, a little one-on-one with Connor McDavid. Where you what stood out to me the most in your article was his answer about how he felt sluggish to start the season. That's got to be real concerning news for the rest of the league because he was sluggish, Spec, and he still finished with 140 points.
Yeah, remember when they were, what were they, like 2-11-1 or something?
2-9-1.
Yeah, and I swear he was injured because he had no jump. There was no explosiveness. I asked him 10 times, okay, come on, off the record, are you hurt? He wouldn't say he's hurt. And to this day, he won't say he's hurt. I thought he was hurt. And he did admit to me the other day that, yeah, I trained so hard. I overtrained. I really was sluggish. And they learned from that. They all got, you know what, Jay? They lost that series to Vegas. They were sour. They were emotional. They thought, man, we should have won the cup. We're going to work hard all summer, and we're going to have a captain skate on September 4th. And, man, we're going to be so ready. And they overdid it. Ekholm got hurt. McLeod got hurt. McDavid was tired. And that's a mistake they won't make again.
No, well, it was him, right? And you learn stuff like that. Guy's obviously driven to go, and you always learn different things. It's and I think he sets a pretty high bar for himself. I don't think there's any doubt. Now he was also hurt, Spec. We saw that he got hurt. He missed some games, so he was actually banged up.
Well, but that was later in the season. I'm talking about that first.
No. Remember, he came back for the Heritage Classic. He missed 2 games in October.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But by then, Knobloch was coach already, wasn't he? Or no?
No. Knobloch didn't come in until after Remembrance Day, November 12th.
That's right. Okay, I'm mixed up. You're right. But anyway, the point is live and learn. And guys are getting older. They're not old, but they're not 21 anymore. They're 27. You probably, especially when you played to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final and 107 games last season the Oilers played. You probably should take a little time off in the summer and recoup.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, I asked the question, and it's a pretty interesting poll online. So there's lots of chatter about, defensemen on PTOs. So, maybe, it doesn't hurt you at all. I get why the players want a contract and not a PTO. I get it. But I get why an organization's like, hey, you can never be too safe. And so there's Shattenkirk. There's Schultz, there's Giordano, there's D'Angelo, and there's Dermott. If you could get one, who would you choose and why?
Probably Shattenkirk. I'd have to really dig in and see what's left there. He's an older guy that I haven't seen him play lately. So I don't I'm a little morally opposed to D'Angelo. I just don't like the person he is that much, and that's just me. He might be the best player of that group. Dermott's always been kind of meh to me. He's an okay player, but I don't know. Where's Schultz? Frankly, here's what I think. I don't need to sign any of those guys to a contract, because if somebody else signs one of those guys to a contract, they're all so close to each other. I'll just get the other guy in on a PTO. So since there's a big crop of guys, Tyson Barrie's going to Calgary on a PTO. He'll probably make that team. There's such a big crop of guys, Jay. Let anybody sign anybody to an actual contract. I'm not sure they will, but if they do, I'll take my pick from whoever's left. If you're asking me to be a part of your poll, my first pick,
Shattenkirk. All right. See, to me, the reason I'm not going Shattenkirk, it doesn't kill penalties. I need a penalty killer, and that's why Giordano would be my first choice, because he kills penalties. Great guy in the room. Actually had really good numbers in Toronto last year when he played. Dealt with an injury, but when he was healthy, he was actually quite good. You can go look at all his numbers. Actually, obviously, I watched pretty much every Toronto game last year. I'd have no issue with him on a PTO. Yeah. I could understand why he wants a contract, and I get it, right? And his agent admitted that his biggest challenge is people see the age, and they're like, he's 40. But he's like,
isn't he 40?
Yeah, he's 40, but he won the Norris at 37, right? So maybe it's a little bit different than some other guys, right? Like Giordano, if you look at their career, there's no question who the best career defenseman is.
Yep. But we're not hiring the guy that was 27 or 28 or 29. We're hiring a 40-year-old. I'm never going to tell you that I don't think Giordano is one of the best people in the game. Like, he's an awesome, awesome guy, great teammate, steeped in character, unbelievable person. It's all there with this guy. I've dealt with him personally. I can't say enough great things about him. You just have to tell me what's left. You just have to. I got to know if he's coming in to play some hard minutes on the second pair and kill some penalties. Is he going to be there for me when I need him at the end of the season, or is he going to be hurt because he's so old? That's my only question.
Well, and that's fair, but I think who you're signing on a PTO spec might not. You're helping your team in the regular season to get to the trade deadline, is what you're looking.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of look at it like this, Jay. Now, depending on what I have to spend on Giordano, obviously it better not be much. I kind of look at it like this: if I feel like I need Giordano to be on my, whatever, to play in my top 6 all season and get me to the trade deadline, and then if I acquire a guy and Gio turns into my number 7, now I'm happy with that going into the playoffs. I like Gio as my number 7. He can step in at any time. So if that's how I'm doing it, I see some sense in that for sure.
Yeah. So it's just, it's just an idea. It's I think they'll look at all options. We had Stan Bowman on the show yesterday, and he admitted that they're looking and they're talking, and Rich Winter admitted that he's been in conversations with the Oilers, and pretty much was pretty open about the fact that why you got to convince teams to want to sign him. So we'll see if that happens or not. I was talking about the triple header in football, Bears and Diamonds tonight. The Bears number 5 ranked team, the top ranked team in the West right now after opening the season with a 42-28 victory in UBC. They host the Dinos tonight. The Elks host the Stamps tomorrow. Going up against the rookie quarterback making his first CFL start in Bonner, and then the Wildcats and the Colts on Sunday. But I look at Bonner and the Elks, man. Spec, I said at the start of the week, this is a must-win game for the Elks, and my goodness, with Meyer at least not starting, this makes it much more winnable in my eyes.
What's his name? Jordan Bonner?
Logan
Bonner. Well, as my father used to say, I would know Logan Bonner if I found him in my soup, Jason. So, you know what? The Elks have painted themselves into a corner with a 07 start, and now they've painted themselves out of the corner here. What are they, 4 out of 5?
Yep.
And they've got a team that they just dominated to a certain extent last week. That game wasn't as close as the score suggested. That team is on the road. That team is playing a guy that's never played before. They couldn't be in a better position right now than to salvage this thing and put themselves absolutely right in the playoff picture. There is opportunity and preparation. This is the intersection, baby, right here on Saturday night. It's there for the Elks. Like, I'm looking at them and I'm saying, if this is a real team that's got real playoff aspirations, here it is, boys. This is the game to win. They got a rookie. Go out and get it.
Well, yeah, 100%. Be aggressive. And, I think if they get in a blowout, I think you're going to see Trey Ford, because eventually they will, they got to get Trey Ford back in. The fact of the matter is Trey Ford was the main catalyst of them turning their season around. They were in the ditch and going nowhere at 0-7 with Bethel Thompson starting. And now I give him credit. He's played well lately. There's no question about that. But Trey Ford was a big catalyst. And, G. Roy Simon talked about it. The other thing was, I don't know if you heard the interview with Simon yesterday on the show, but he talked about the one thing he came in as interim GM was he talked to the coaches and said, more coaching, less physical toll in practice. And you know what? That obviously has played a role somewhat, but like tomorrow's game spec, not only is it big in the standings, I actually could argue, I think it's a bigger game if the organization is looking to slowly start to win back the interest and the passion of their fans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all on the table. We're talking about the refurbishment of Commonwealth Stadium. The Elks would be the biggest beneficiary of that. We're looking at a game tomorrow where, by all accounts, they're starting to run out of tickets here. What does it hold? Just like if you sell out your lower bowl,
32 in the lower bowl.
Oh boy! So you know what? Let's say they're going to push. If they're pushing 30,000 tomorrow night, that's a hell of a lot more people they've had in that barn for a long time. It's important to send those people home entertained. Send them home with a win. Absolutely, it sets up the rest of the season, and a whole bunch of them will come back. Again, like this is preparation and opportunity all meeting up. It's opportunity on a lot of fronts here. This is a big beat Calgary twice in a row. How long ago is it since somebody swept this thing? It's been forever, is my understanding. The Labor Day and Labor Day rematch. So it's all there. Set yourself up for a playoff spot. Head into, I believe they play Winnipeg twice in a row coming up, don't they?
Oh yes, their next two games.
Right. Head into that series saying, okay, we just kicked Calgary's heinies. Now we're coming up to play the Bombers. Let's go. I think they're in a great spot. They're in a great spot. They've earned it, right? They've done the work. They've prepared for it. They've won their games. They're in a spot to make something happen. And now, right, here we are. Now you got to deliver.
Yeah. So definitely it's a big one. Spec, what'd you make of the NFLer last night?
I love the quote from Mahomes. He said that likely, he said, next time you should wear white cleats. I thought that was whoever. I mean, what a tilt that was. It was a fantastic game, and ends on just a toe on the goal line. It was out of bounds. Likely had an unbelievable game. I don't even know the guy. I never heard of him. Wow, what a game he had. The two quarterbacks, I loved it when both guys took turns stepping through the pocket and running the ball. They're both dynamic runners. Obviously, they passed it great. I mean, it was, the NFL sets this up to have two good teams on opening night and hopefully get an exciting game. I mean, whoever figured out to play Baltimore and KC together, oh boy, what a gold mine that was last night. I can't imagine a more exciting opening game to a season than what we watched last night.
Yeah. Spec, have yourself an awesome weekend. We will chat with you on Monday.
All right. Enjoy all the football this weekend, folks.
Oh, you betcha. There's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, Al Mitchell, a.k.a. Low Tide, will join us. I know our 5 options. He's going to be mad that we didn't put in Lindstrom. So maybe that'll be his choice. I don't even know. Wow, no. I'll give him all 6 and we'll see what he says. Talk about that. And we'll get to some of your favorite wrestling stories. So wrap up a busy, positive Friday on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, streaming live at sports1440.ca for all of you listening on the app at iHeartRadio, Stingray, or Radio Player. Thanks so much. And we'll return on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like Johnson. The men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Jonathan and Murray are friends.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Except when they talk about which stadium is more fun in the summer.
Dude, Commonwealth has Elks Fan Park. Tailgating at its finest.
But it can't compare to the old ballpark in the River Valley. Riverhawks games are electric. But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
It's the only thing everyone can agree on. So pick some up for your summer pregame snack.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you don't win friends with salad. When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
The only thing as hot as the weather this summer is a night out at On the Rocks. Every weekend, enjoy live music and top DJs spinning your favorite tracks. The dance floor is the place to be. Celebrating a birthday or stagette? Let OTR take the work out of the planning for you. Book your party online at ontherocksedmonton.com. Join OTR every evening from 4 p.m. for a great atmosphere and good company. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Grab your Good Vibe Drive and head to On the Rocks, corner of Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
At Fountain Tire, we love jingles. Get up to 25% off select tires.
Until October 19th.
Plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150.
Restrictions apply.
Book online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
The Bricks famous tent sale continues with up to 60% off clearance items in the tent and store and up to $1,600 off exclusive tent sale specials. Plus, find incredible deals in every department, like up to 50% off mattresses, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 30% off sofas. Come on by while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Positive Friday. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. So we get set to wrap up what has been a very busy week. Fun week as always. We're getting NFL seasons here. We're into the heart of the CFL. You got football mania going on halfway to the Prairie Junior football season. You've got U of A in week 2 tonight, taking on the Dinos. And we got rookie camps getting going next weekend. Then you got regular season less than 2 weeks. The playoff push in Major Leagues of Baseball. F1's got a race going on. Heck, so does IndyCar. This is awesome. Awesome time. And now let's welcome to the program Al Mitchell, the host of The Lowdown, noon to 2 here on Sports 1440 every weekday. Al, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, before we get started, I won't take too much time, but I want to thank you for the last year. I was looking at Radio Extinction a year ago when I got a phone call from you. I was sitting in the WIM parking lot waiting for my daughter to come back from work, and you called me, and we had a real pleasant conversation, and it ignited me, and I love being back on the radio, and I appreciate that. And I know there are others involved, but I want to thank you personally because it means a lot to me.
Well, we're happy to have you, man. Love the show. It's people love it too, so that's great. And we always learn random musical facts too, so that's always it's always exciting. Always exciting. Now, before I get to the hockey stuff, Al, do you have, because WWE's in town tonight? Do you remember like your first live wrestling event? Have you ever been to a live wrestling event?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
My family is most of them are in prison, but my mom and dad, their first date was in Vancouver to go see Gorgeous George. So I got my brother, 4 years older than me. He'd be arrested now. He beat the tar out of me as a kid because we'd wrestle. We'd watch Stampede Wrestling and wrestle, and Stampede Wrestling would sometimes come to my neck of the woods, and you'd see Tor Kamada, who I hated, because he always had a foreign object or was using a chair, but he ended up being the guy I cared about the most. So
okay.
Wrestling is, like, for me, when I was a kid, I loved wrestling as much as I loved hockey and Bugs Bunny. Really? That was it, man. It was the top drawer Saturday afternoon, wrestling, Bugs Bunny, hockey.
Oh, buddy, wrestling on Saturdays, man. As a kid, I loved it. It was so good. And I remember my first one ever live at the Edmonton Gardens, and I saw like old ladies spitting on the wrestlers, and I was like, oh, this is like, I was a young kid. I thought everything was like, well, their actions as a crowd was legit, but I thought the whole spectacle was just, and like Ed Whalen was like the greatest wrestling host ever. God, he was good.
Yeah. I think that because you can never get as excited and as upset and outraged and have as much adrenaline running over something that doesn't matter as you do when you're a kid. And sports matters, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, but if you can just keep that kid in you, even for your whole life, then I think that's a good thing. I really do. Like, people, my friend Mags is a big time wrestling fan, and look, it is what it is. She adores it. She loves it. She follows all of the wrestlers. She knows their careers. She knows their background. She knows where they're from. It really is. It's just like any other sport. Those who love it, and you've got your folks who enjoy it because it's a spectacle and they love to go, and then you've got your diehards. But man, I when I was like 10 years old, I loved wrestling as much as I loved anything.
Yeah, no, it's true. So, Al, the question I have, there's lots of talk about a PTO for the Oilers. And so, we've heard Justin Schultz, Tony DeAngelo, Travis Dermott, Mark Giordano, Kevin Shattenkirk, and I'll throw in your Gustav, Mr. Lidstrom fella. So if you could pick one of the six, who's your one and why?
Okay, I'm going to say, and people will get mad at me, I really like Shattenkirk. I like Dermott. I do. But the reason I like Giordano, and I know he's older, but he can play left side, he can play right side. He doesn't have to play every game. He could slide up to second pair. If you go look at puck IQ, not great against elites, but none of these characters are. But he plays really well against mid-level, and he played a lot against them. He plays well with two or three different partners. There's one partner last year in Toronto when he was with the Maple Leafs. He played a lot with McCabe, a lefty, and then he played a lot with, I cannot for the life of me remember the right-handed kid. It was Liljegren.
Yeah, Liljegren,
he played with both, and both times expected goals 54% with McCabe, 55% with Liljegren. I know he plastered McDavid and caused a career threatening moment for Connor McDavid. I get it. I understand that. You can be as mad as you want, but if he helps you win the Stanley Cup, then hire the guy. So I had on my blog today, I wrote about it earlier, talked about it. I know you've talked about it. For me, it's Giordano because of what he can do. And I understand that people want to see Emerson and Stetcher. I'm not saying don't play those guys. I'm saying this guy, if he ends up playing as the number 7 guy, and we know the number 7 guy, the number 7 guy can play a lot, 50 games sometimes in the NHL. So he'd be my guy, even though I know he's older and he's slower. I just think he's the kind of guy that could really help this team at an area where they sort of need it. He can play both sides.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a factor. And the other thing is Ali kills penalties, because I looked it up. Shattenkirk didn't really kill penalties last year. Schultz hasn't killed penalties. D'Angelo doesn't kill penalties. And I don't want Evan Bouchard killing penalties because he's already playing enough minutes. Like I don't need to put more minutes on Bouchard, even though he's young, in the regular season. I don't see the need to do it. So,
and it's not something that, if you look at Bouchard's skills, and I would never be critical of him because I think he's wonderful, but his skill set, I don't want him blocking shots, and I don't think that he's, the fastest defender out there. Like, there's a lot about him that is like, he is such a great power play quarterback, and he's got such a monster shot, but none of those things are useful on the penalty kill. So fading him on the PK is just the right thing to do.
Yeah, no question. Al Mitchell joins us here in Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. Al, it's a big weekend in football. The triple header of the Battle of Alberta. You got U Sports tonight, the Bears and the Dinos. You got the Elks and the Stamps tomorrow, and then you have the Wildcats and the Colts for fun on a Sunday afternoon. But in the middle of those, of course, are the Elks against the Stampeders. The Stampeders are going with a rookie quarterback making his first CFL start. He's only thrown the ball 14 times in the CFL, completed 8 of them for 94 yards, so not bad. But he's basically a raw rookie, Al. He's never had a start, hasn't taken many first team reps until this week in Calgary. He comes in, the Elks right now, are the second hottest team in the league. So, this is, and I've said this all week, this is a must-win game for them. And man, I think it just got more favorable. I'm never going to say easy because pro sports isn't easy, but this got more favorable for them, and they need to take advantage. And I think they got to send like a statement win in front of the home crowd would be a massive thing when it's going to be your biggest crowd of the year.
Yeah, this is like, look, all along the line, you can say, the Elks, they did have some bad luck. They had the pandemic really robbed them of like 2 years because they had a coach here who, hadn't picked the team, and there was lots of things that had gone wrong. But when they, Coach Jones was hired late and he had a problem recruiting, and then he was so powerful he didn't have anybody to tell him, are you sure that's a good idea? And even this year, you've got guys on the roster, I've said this before, but you've got guys on this roster who were like, they started winless through basically half a season, and they're probably thinking, man, I'm never going to get a contract or an opportunity in pro football. And now the same guys are like, we win tomorrow night, we're like in a playoff spot, and who knows how high you could go. You might go as high as second. I know that might be dreaming, but if you look at the West, man, there are teams that are losing like a lot in a row, and the Elks are winning a lot in the row. And so anything is possible, but you've got to beat Calgary, because then they lose 2 in a row, and suddenly the Stampeders are the team in the hot seat in the division. Although I do think the Rough Riders are also in a little bit of a hot situation.
Well, yeah, they're going backwards right now. And so, you know what? And they got Winnipeg, who's just as hot as Edmonton in the West. And, if Edmonton wins and Winnipeg wins, the Elks are now 1 point back of Saskatchewan. They face them down the stretch. They face Winnipeg twice down the stretch. They face Calgary and Toronto. And if Toronto loses, which is very possible, they're taking on Ottawa, then they're only 2 points back of them for the crossover. Like this victory puts them right in the hunt, legit hunt for a playoff spot.
And it also makes them, you can, like, even now you could avoid this story. Like, you could, if you, whatever, they're, you're talking them up. They're 4-8. Now they win. They go 5-8, and Calgary would be 4-8 with a game in hand. But there's no way to avoid talking about them because they've won so many in recent weeks. So we're past Labor Day. We all know the CFL, the season actually starts, in September. We're going to get into the cold weather now. It's funny how it's worked out. They had no choice to run with a veteran quarterback, but now they've got Trey Ford, coming back. And I love the fact that they not only will have 2 quarterbacks, but 2 quarterbacks who have different skill sets. And you could, if one quarterback starts and struggles, you could change it up with the other. It's sort of like all the bad luck. Like there were, bad stories about the Elks forever, on and off the field.
Yeah.
This is such a great story. They beat Calgary, as you say, at home. Now it's a good story. And it's a good story. Like, this is the ultimate redemption. You can go decades without having a story about it. This team was dead in the water not long ago. Nobody was talking about them in a good way. You and I were both talking on our shows about, man, I can't even blame people for not going. Holy cow. They're good, and they're not just good, but they're the yards after catch. They're throwing the ball through the middle. There's some juke and jive in the wideouts. They're getting great yards after catch. Some of those explosive plays they have. People go to to Commonwealth tomorrow. They see that they're going to come back. I'm pretty excited about the Edmonton Elks, and it's been a while. Honestly, I love the CFL, but it's been a while since I could be excited, like emotionally involved and excited about the Elks.
Yeah, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. Al, have a fantastic weekend. We will chat with you next week.
All right, go Eagles.
Go Eagles. Ooh, yeah, a little Friday night football. Al, what's happening?
Yeah, I just, I always like it when the Eagles are playing in a neutral site, because if they're bad at home, people, go after them. And when they're on the road, it's usually against an NFC East team, and it's all terrible for the Eagles. So I'm thinking South America might be a good spot for the Eagles. I'm hoping anyway.
We shall see. Look forward to it. Have a good one.
All right, you too, man.
There you go. That is Lowdown with Low Tide host. Weekdays, noon to 2 on Sports 1440. We'll come back. We'll wrap up. A lot of you got thoughts on which D-man you'd like to come in, and wrestling, your favorite wrestling stories. Wrap up a busy week on the Jason Gregor Show with Connor Halley on Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook, and sports1440.ca.
Booster Juice has a secret. It's a secret menu of secret smoothies you can only see on the Booster Rewards app. Oh, wait. Guess it's not a secret anymore. Visit any Booster Juice and ask for the Raspberry Rapture, the Strawberry Dip, the Ocean's Tide, the Go Mango, or the Berry Bloom. Made with strawberries, raspberries, passion fruit, guava, and vanilla frozen yogurt. The secret's out. Tell anyone you want. Find the exclusive secret smoothie menu on the Booster Rewards app and sneak into a Booster Juice near you.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the words. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
The Bricks famous tent sale continues with up to 60% off clearance items in the tent and store and up to $1,600 off exclusive tent sale specials. Plus, find incredible deals in every department, like up to 50% off mattresses, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 30% off sofas. Come on by while the tents are still up and the prices are down. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Imagine hitting 13 out of 14 fairways from the tee. It can happen. It does happen with a driver created for you by Fitted Golf. We are the only company in Edmonton who fits for all 9 features of each golf club. Amateurs learn to play like amateurs from amateurs. Come work with our professional team of scientists, engineers, and club builders and get fitted with the clubs designed for one golfer. You visit fittedgolf.ca today. Fitted Golf, where we continue to prove it's your clubs.
Rule number 12, not spending the afternoon tubing on the Pembina? Next, you're going to tell us you don't wear flannel. Summer in Alberta has its own set of rules. And if you're looking to add a little extra fun, Play Alberta has it all. Use promo code SUMMER to snag a $50 casino bonus for casino, instance, and live dealer with your next deposit. Get ready for promotions throughout the summer to help you make the most of those sunny Alberta days, because we all know they won't last long enough. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
In 100 meters, turn right.
Actually, no. Turn left. There's some awesome new breakfast wraps at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, there's the sausage, bacon, and egg, a crispy seasoned chicken one, a spicy and egg, worth the detour.
They sound amazing.
Bet they taste amazing too. Wish I had a mouth. Take your morning into a delicious new direction with McDonald's new breakfast wraps. Add a small premium roast coffee for $1 plus tax at participating McDonald's restaurants. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Well, you know what? We're going to finish off the week with a little extra positive. We have 2 pairs of tickets, great seats, lower bowl on the west side of the stadium, right at the 30-yard line for the game on Saturday, Elks and the Stamps. So 2 separate pairs. So you know what? We're going to just do it very easy. If you want to go, text in right now, and number one, you have to be able to go 100%. Don't text in and then just say, oh, Connor says, okay, you won, but I got to check. No. If you don't know, then don't go. This is for people that 100% you can go and you want to go. Hard to get good tickets. These are great seats. So 833-401-1440. Just text in Elks and your name. And we'll give a few minutes, and then Connor will randomly select 2 lucky winners, and you'll each get a pair of seats to go to the game tomorrow. It's a 5:00 start, okay? And I'm telling you, the tailgate, they got lots of fun things going on the west side of the stadium. If you want to get there a little bit earlier, it's fantastic. So 833-401-1440. Just text in the word Elks. So there you go. Hey guys, love Stampede Wrestling. Was visiting grandparents in Kamloops one summer when all the wrestlers showed up the water slides. Couldn't believe it. How the faces and heels were having such a great time together. Stu obviously wasn't around. When the wrestlers were behind you in line, you let them go ahead because you didn't want to be on the water slide in front of them from Wolfpack. Nice. Hey guys, Gio and Mickey D in the same team as long as it doesn't trip Connor in practice should be okay. Matt Leduc. Yeah, I know a lot of people like Order fans. Get over it. Get over it. Giordano's not a cheap player. The guy's had a really good career. He's one of the most respected guys in the game. And you know what? Connor McDavid missed 0 games because of it. He rehabbed it all summer. The Oilers didn't go to the playoffs. People trying to compare that to when he got crashing the boards. No, it's not the same for Manning. And by the way, Manning isn't remote. Did Manning ever win a Norris Trophy? Was Manning a multiple-time All-Star? No, they're not even close. Come on, Order fans. You got to up your game. We're getting close to the regular season again. I'm telling you, Mark Giordano is one of the most respected guys around. Plays hard. Loyalty. I will guarantee you that Connor McDavid would have 0 issue with Giordano on their team. Zilch, 0, none. At all. Now, is management going to sign him? I have no idea. No idea. Hey, boys, wrestling story. True. I served Hulk Hogan and Mr. Perfect breakfast when I was a manager at the Edmonton Inn. Hogan was massive. Never stood by a bigger man, and his biceps were bigger than my thighs. He was rude and cocky, though. Whenever I would ask if they wanted more juice, he would almost snap at me and would just say, yeah. Not a single thank you, and believe it or not a penny tip. Mr. Perfect didn't say much, but again, very big man from Mark 8. They didn't tip? Oh, that's kind of cheap. Oh. The old Hulkster right now has kind of gone off the deep end a little bit. But in his heyday, man, he was a big, big draw. Hey, boys, favorite wrestling moment when Austin finally decided to get involved in WCW Invasion. Came all the way from a bar to the ring, handing out cans of whoop-ass to everyone he saw along the way. Then the W guys fought off everyone with only 5 or 6 guys. It was epic. From Craig the Keg. Oh, hey guys, favorite return Edge coming out of retirement was unexpected and insanely awesome. Edge was Canadian, was he not? Pretty sure he was. Sick flow too.
Yeah, he was great. I feel like underrated. Maybe just in my books.
Yeah.
But didn't.
Well, he was
a star.
He was a champ for a while. Weren't him and Christian tag team champs for quite a while?
Yeah. And then for a while, I believe they were in The Brood with Gangrel. They're like vampires.
Okay.
Different, experimental phase, I think, in their career.
Yeah. Hey, boys, the oldest team in the league doesn't need another old person. Are the Oilers the oldest team in the league? Maybe. Were the Oilers the oldest team in the league last year? Did they go to the Game 7 Stanley Cup final? I wouldn't get caught up in that too much. Right? Are their core guys old? McDavid old? Bouchard old? Draisaitl? Well, Nurse. Ekholm was 34, but you got to have some experience. Like Corey Perry and Derek Ryan really upped it for sure, right? They got a lot of guys, 30 years of age and such. But, Jeff Skinner's still a pretty good player. Arvidsson, yeah. The Oilers are, but I don't think age is hurting them. They're not a slow team by any stretch of the imagination. So I wouldn't, I don't think it's, for me, a huge deal. Hey, guys, I was a 17-year-old kid visiting my cousin in Calgary, walking around downtown, and Foley came bouncing out of the alley, and an old bomb car almost tagged us on the sidewalk. I didn't know to yell, "Money talks, Ed, money talks." He yelled at us to get out of the way. We laughed hard. Was that J.R. Foley? Oh, yeah. Oh, man, there's some great wrestling memories. Hey, boys, I went to the old corral to watch wrestling. My buddies. It was $5. Couldn't see through the smoke and the nosebleeds. Even better was catching a city bus by Peter's Driving at the Mohawk gas station. J.R. Foley and his wrestlers would sometimes get on the bus in costume and hassle the riders. Cuban Assassin was crazy. Best PR I ever saw. Great memories from Mark. Now think about that, Cons, right? That's what makes it awesome, right? Like you're in character even on the bus to get there. You're riding around city. Smart. That's what you do. I love it. Man, that's what just made it fun. Made it awesome. Oh, awesome. Hey, guys, my favorite memory is actually being at Grandma's house and making the mistake of walking in front of her little 14-inch TV while Stampede was on. She sent me outside to sit in the woodshed until supper. It's about -20. She watched 2 shows. Stampede Wrestling and Another World. That's it from Scalding Gourd. I will say this, like wrestling fans, like hockey fans, you're diehard. Wrestling fans, no different. When it was on, it was like, and especially because like nowadays you have what, 4 nights a week you can watch it. Back then it was one day. And it was like, okay, it was tune in. You're there, you're waiting. It's awesome. Hey, guys, my uncle got his jaw broken at Stampede Wrestling in Calgary. The woman beside him threw her shoe at the wrestler. He came out of the ring, thought it was my uncle, threw the shoe and punched him in the face. From Marty. What? Oh, did he sue? If he didn't, then I wonder why not. Hey, guys, Mucka Singh the Toilet Bowl is my most hated wrestler. Great memory. Also, same with Bad News Allen. Look out in the meantime and in between time. That's another edition of Stampede Wrestling. Watch it every Saturday with my Opa. Great memories. Look out, Nelly. Oh, that was another classic line from old Eddie Whalen. What an era to grow up in from James from the Hood. It was awesome. And it was like innocent fun, Cons. That's what it was. Just innocent fun. But people get fired up in it.
Like, what was the most outrageous thing that would happen?
Well, the Cuban Assassin. So the Cuban Assassin had like those green army pants that had the bags on their leg. And so he would always be pulling out stuff and people would freak out because the ref would never see it, allegedly. Yeah. Right. Well, one time Gama Singh, if I'm not mistaken, like set himself on fire. I think it was kind of by accident though. Right? Or maybe they played it up like he caught on fire and burned all his face. And if my memory's correct, someone out there might remember this, but like he had bandages for the longest time around his face and head. And so I don't know, maybe he wasn't like I remember it and it kind of saw it, but you didn't really on TV. So if you know how like it's like, oh, what's his name? Who was the guy that went off the top of the cage? Remember he had the sock puppet on his hand for a while?
Foley.
Mick Foley. Yeah. But was he
Mankind? He was Dude Love, Cactus Jack.
But like their stunts, they went next level, right? Like obviously the Owen Hart was the worst one ever, unfortunately, because of losing his life. But Stampede Wrestling had a few ones. It it wasn't to that level. They didn't talk as much on the mic before or after, right? So there was at times a little bit of it, but it was just more like Duke, like the bad guys were so cheap and it would just fire people up. It was awesome. They're like, he's cheating, but they'd always get away with it. So that's what made it so great. Thanks everyone for listening. Have yourselves an awesome weekend. Hey, we should never do it, but I think after seeing what happened to Johnny Gaudreau's brother, please do not drink and drive. Be smart, be safe. Don't weed and drive. Don't be inebriated. Get home safe. Okay? Be smart, be safe. Have yourselves a kick-ass weekend. Here's the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. If all of a sudden one of your heaters or your AC conks out this weekend, call them. No overtime charges. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 1 in the NFL kicks off in about 20 minutes' time as the Eagles host the Packers. On paper, the game will be played in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That one's set for 6:15. Russell Wilson right now listed as questionable for the Steelers. It's looking more and more likely like Justin Fields will get the start as they kick off their season in Atlanta. He took first-team reps at practice today. And the Buffalo Bills signing right tackle Spencer Brown to a 4-year extension, keeping him through the 2028 season. From the Paralympics, Sebastian Masabi gold in the pool today in the 15-meter freestyle, while Canadian wheelchair racer Cody Fournier won his second gold medal of the games in the T51 100-meter. He also won Tuesday in the 200 meters. Right now, Canada sitting in 13th place with 8 golds, 7 silvers, and 8 bronze medals. University of Alberta action tonight. The Golden Bears taking on the UFC Dinos down at Foot Field. That's starting at 7 o'clock. On the ice, the Pandas tonight taking on Mount Royal at Clare Drake at 7. Tomorrow, the Drake gets the Golden Bears taking on Mount Royal as well. Puck drop at 7. And on the pitch, you got soccer tomorrow at noon. Pandas taking on Regina. Then at 2:15, it is the Dinos up against the Golden Bears. In the CFL, Week 14 officially underway. Midway through the first quarter, the BC Lions on top of the Alouettes, 7-0. The Elks look to make it 2 straight against the Stampeders tomorrow. The two teams meet at 5 o'clock out at Commonwealth. And before that, you got the Bombers and Riders. At 11 a.m., the Argos taking on the Red Blacks. In Major League Baseball right now, the Toronto Blue Jays trail the Braves 2-0. That's in the bottom of the second. Elsewhere, Phillies on top of the Marlins 7-0. Mets and Reds tied at 2 apiece. The White Sox lead the Red Sox 1-0. And the Rays Orioles are scoreless. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show.